everyone, good evening. This is Rudy here, I'm back, and this is gonna be part 3 of Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Path. So, well, the dog took me to this place, so now it's my duty to examine this place. There's a poster of Mr. Elbert on the wall. That's Kate saying that. And what's this next to it? Is this his weight loss target? He was a former boxer. He probably continued with his weight management. It seems he also takes various protein supplements. Muscle protein, weight loss protein, nothing but protein. Which weight class was he aiming for? There's nothing unusual about this area. Okay. Giving the prisoners a heater is careless. They are much too lenient here. Did this guy use the heater every day? It was probably for his weight management, since training was his hobby. Wouldn't his partner Rocky get too hot? Yeah, it's a polar bear. I think their combination is hot enough. Rocky is written here in messy handwriting. Could this be the bear's toy? This prisoner seems very close to his unusual partner. This takes me back. Didn't you play with stuff like this when you were a kid? No, I don't recall doing that. Well then, what did you play when you were younger? Chess, golf, and the flute. Things like that. Mr. Edgeworth, didn't you have any friends? Why must you be so concerned about that? There's a window. But there's no description, apparently. What's that? Hourglass? Mr. Edgeworth, how many minutes do you think this hourglass goes for? Albert is a former boxer, so I'd say 3 minutes? Yeah, because, like, a round in a boxing match, each round lasts for 3 minutes. Yeah. Wrong. The correct answer is around 2 minutes. Why? Well, because the glass is cracked and some sand has spilled out. Well, how could I have missed that? I know, but I already looked at the poster. The sandbag shows signs of repeated use. Woof 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 woof. There's something inside. You want a box too, missile? Look at him go. It can't be. Detective, move the sandbag at once. Yes, sir. There's a hole underneath. A hole? This is... Hey, missile, come back here. I'm going to. Hold it. I'll stop them, sir. It's too tight for me, sir. Detective. It can't be helped. I'll have to wait for her to contact me. Hello, Kay. Are you alright? Don't get so worked up. Right now, I'm in the detention center. Aha! The detention center. That hole comes out at nightly cell. Huh? Really? Stay where you are. I'm coming over there now. Where would that be? Under the bed? Or under the toilet or something? Because they said something about the toilet being super clean or something. Okay? Mr. Edgeworth, hehehe. I really helped out, didn't I? Indeed. She doesn't appear to be injured. Under the bed, okay. The floorboards have been ripped out from under the bed, sir. I see. It seems we found what we were looking for. Oops, sorry. I've got the controller resting on my lap. The passageway between the detention center and prison is blocked by solid doors. However, there was a secret underground tunnel beneath it. We were following a sweet scent and arrived here. That means the scent must have come from Knightley's body. Has a sweet scent. Come to think of it, his body was covered in dirt. It may have been caused by passing through the tunnel. Okay, what was the inside of the tunnel like? It was pitch black, so I really couldn't see much, but I took some photos. Please show us. He dug using spoons, plates, and cups. And forks, apparently. Spoons and forks? Were these used to dig the tunnel? But more importantly, what are these footprints? These footprints, could they belong to a dog? Photograph of the tunnel connecting the detention center and the prison. Are those dog prints? Well, Missile was just went through there, or unless he took the photo before Missile went through there, I don't know. This will surely be vital evidence. However, before we consider that, we have a big problem. A problem? Jailbird could use this tunnel to move around freely. Detective, confirm his whereabouts post-haste. Perhaps he's... You may be right. Sir, this is a big deal. After speaking with the guards, the search for Jailbird was carried out immediately. They searched every nook and cranny of the detention center and the prison. But in the end, they found no sign of him. Maybe he's dead too. Or he left. With a guard disguise, maybe. Did you contact the police? Yes, ma'am. We've already done that. We've set up a security perimeter around the prison, ma'am. Right, this is the first scandal in our prison's history. We're so sorry. She's completely different from before. Mr. Edgeworth, was it? Thank you for finding the escapee's tunnel. But, it's a little too late. Mr. Elbert has long since left here. I don't believe he has gone beyond the detention center. There are security gates located at the exit of the detention center. I believe it would have been difficult to get through those, wouldn't you agree? Maybe he has another tunnel. We certainly can't deny that possibility, however. Anyway, there's no use in you being here now. Please return to your investigation. Yes, we'll do that. You guys, get back to your posts now. Yes, ma'am. Detective Gumshoe, sir. We've got the results of that blood test you requested. Good work, pal. These are the forensic results on the blood stain found in Knightley's cell. Let me guess, it's not his? The blood is confirmed to have been Knightley's. Well, I'm kinda surprised. I expected like a new plot twist or something. Okay, so it was more straightforward than I thought it was gonna be then. Or at least, it appears to be more straightforward right now. We'll see how it goes. Hey now, that's good news. We found the bloodstain in Knightley's cell and discovered the tunnel the dog used. Furthermore, the security camera shows footage of a dog attacking Knightley in his cell. We have all the evidence we need. It's time we asked Dogen a few questions. Dogen, did you say? Please, use utmost caution. That man even has henchmen outside of the prison. Outside of the prison? Is this related to his secret trade routes as the supplier? The police have been searching for Dogen's henchmen for ages. I've also been helping them, but... So that means back then... So he still won't talk, even after all the trouble you went through to get the evidence transferred from the precinct. That's right, I don't know how many times I've tried. I can't report back empty-handed. That assassin sure is one tough cookie, huh? You had evidence transferred from the precinct. That's a question, actually. Yes, we borrowed all the evidence concerning Dogen. I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but... No matter how much evidence we have on him, we can't get a single word out of him. The warden interrogates him herself? Why go that far? Lose your focus and he'll eat you alive. Be on your guard. Why, you've made Uncle Ray a little nervous. I wonder if she is to be trusted or not. Give me a sec. Wow, you've made Uncle Ray a little nervous. Okay. Judge Courtney, what are you doing here? Questioning a prisoner? Did you forget that we're investigating as well? Or rather, have you forgotten my warning? If you value your badge, you should not have appeared before me again. I'm sorry if you thought that I would abide by those words. I won't overlook something important just to heed your warning. I've come for a testimony about the truth of this case, which you have overlooked. You mean to say you require my humble services? As I promised, I've returned to prove that you are the culprit. Interesting, do tell. Before that, you should first listen to our reasoning. We can say with confidence that Simon Keyes is the culprit. Only Simon Keyes could have moved Mr. Knightley into the prison. And we can show proof of this fact. But first, I'd like to hear your resolve, Prosecutor Edgeworth. If our reasoning is correct, will you submit it to us? If our reasoning is correct... she means your Prosecutor's badge, okay. Yeah, no, never mind. You'll deprive him of his badge? Is that a threat, pal? I like how he calls her pal. No, it's not a threat, rather an act of compassion. Normally, I wouldn't even have taken notice of you since you have no right to investigate. However, if you are able to show proper resolve, I would be willing to let you be my opponent. Are you willing to risk it? Your Prosecutor's badge. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Very well, I trust my own reasoning, but moreover, at the moment I am currently a defense attorney's assistant first and a prosecutor second. I will not sully the good name of the Edgeworth law offices. I intend to see my job through. I won't yield to your threats. So be it. Is this bravery or simply foolishness? On the goodness of law's behalf. On the goddess of law's behalf. Yeah, sorry. I shall be the judge of that. Sebastian, allow me to. Yeah, I got it. I'm counting on you, Justine. I presume you know of the incident Mr. Knightley caused the day before yesterday? He attacked a guard and stole his keys. Afterwards, Simon Keyes stopped by a cell with an animal cage from the show. During this time, Mr. Knightley was able to use the stolen key to exit the cell. He then hid in the cage while it was moved to the prison workroom. Or so you say. So, Mr. Keyes went to his cell after all. After hearing you talk about the security camera yesterday, we investigated it ourselves. Why don't you have a look? I have here a printout of the security camera footage. Well, I didn't expect that. This is the moment when Mr. Keyes visited Knightley. Exactly. As you can see, the cage creates a huge blind spot in the cell. By using this blind spot, Mr. Knightley could have entered the cage. That is our reasoning. A blind spot, that means the camera doesn't actually show him entering the cage. At this time, there's still the possibility that Knightley never left his cell. But why would he be hiding inside an animal cage? Mr. Knightley was planning to escape from prison. That is the only possibility. A prison escape? That's so cool! First Mr. Elbert, and now Mr. Knightley. I won't let them show me up. Okay, this isn't the time to get excited. J. Elbert's escape is no laughing matter. Simon Keyes was aiding Mr. Knightley in his escape. In other words, he has an accomplice. Not bad, Simon. Don't praise him. That cage was transported temporarily to the workroom. Originally, Mr. Knightley was to remain hidden until the end of the animal show. He would then be carried out along with the cage. I presume that was the plan. However, midway through the plan, he was betrayed by Simon Keyes and murdered. Judge Courtney's reasoning does appear to make sense. However, there must be a hole somewhere. I must not overlook anything. Yeah, there is a hole in the cell. Presume you know the incident. No, I did not know about that. Tell me more about it. We have proof Knightley stole the keys. It is the only explanation as to why Mr. Knightley would have attacked the guard. We will know for certain the moment the guard regains consciousness. Is that really true? Should I ask Judge Courtney for more information? I think so. There is one point in your reasoning that is odd. If Knightley did indeed steal the key, I'd expect he'd try to escape immediately. Was it really necessary for him to wait for Mr. Keys to help him escape? He simply chose the method with the highest probability of success. After stealing the key, he concealed it on his personage. As he waited for the opportune moment, that is what I believe. He concealed the key. Judge Courtney, such an oversight is unlike you. Knightley could not have concealed the key. And I can prove it. He did not hide the key, and the proof is, there's the key. During the attack on the guard, the key to Knightley's cell was stolen. Current location unknown. Yeah, so the proof is that the key is not on his body, I guess. That it was not found. Yeah, didn't she say something about they've looked everywhere for the key but they couldn't find it or something? Haven't the guards informed you yet? They searched Knightley after he attacked the guard, and the key was nowhere to be found. Since the key's location is unknown, your logic doesn't hold. That is not an issue, there is an explanation. Mr. Knightley had the key, it simply wasn't found. The reason being he concealed it inside the chessboard. The chessboard? You mean the one that concealed the murder weapon? Come now, how do we know whether or not the murder weapon was really there? What? Take some responsibility for your own words. Yeah, that's what she said earlier. That was all Sebastian's idea after all. So those two don't always agree on their reasoning. In other words, once we put all the pieces together, Mr. Knightley concealed the key he stole from the guard inside the chessboard. When Simon Keyes arrived, Mr. Knightley used the key to slip out of his cell. He entered the animal cage and was transported to the workroom. All thanks to his accomplice, Simon Keyes. Miss Knightley had planned to be carried outside after the show had ended. However, he was betrayed by his accomplice and murdered during the circus performance. Mr. Keyes performed in the show. He would have had no opportunity to murder him during the circus performance. Overruled! No opportunity, is that so? A story plays itself out on the stage. And such was the case with the animal show. So she examined the content of the show. The suspect plays the role of the villain, who antagonizes the elephant heroine. In the final act, the villain is defeated by the heroine's love and all ends well. At that point, the suspect in the role of the villain is blown away by the heroine's burning love and makes his exit. Blown away by the elephant? Oh, excuse me. I feel so drowsy. I can't even say that I didn't sleep well, actually. For once. After being blown away, the suspect disappeared from the stage. The suspect was absent from the stage for about 15 minutes. Are you saying the crime was committed during that time? Even in such a short period of time, it would still be possible to carry out the murder. Don't you think so? Objection! So he committed the crime in 15 minutes and then returned to the stage. That may have been possible if the crime scene had been the prison. Judge Courtney, the actual crime took place in the detention center. I'm afraid I cannot accept that camera footage alone as evidence. Well, the floor, the wiped floor. As for evidence, I have it. Well then, please show us your evidence. Where is the evidence that shows the scene of the crime was at the detention center? This one.
Take that!
This is the floor. Oh, goddess of law, I am unable to comprehend your mysterious ways. This is what we discovered. The area here was tested positive for Mr. Knightley's blood. This blood test, can it really be trusted? To begin with, how were you able to conduct a scientific investigation? My stream is dying. Sort of. Just like yesterday. Is it back to normal? It appears to be, but I don't want to jinx it. Okay, let's continue then. I happen to have a subordinate, but I can't vouch for his competence, but he is a man that I trust. That detective. This concerns me. I cannot think why one would disturb the order of law. The Prosecutorial Investigation Committee's influence goes as far as the police department. The committee's in trouble! Forgive me, detective. I'm afraid something bad may come of this. I will accept the fact that blood was found at the detention center as evidence. However... How ridiculous! This is unthinkable of you, you third-rate prosecutor. Mr. The Best, you're here. I'd completely forgotten about him. There's a giant contradiction in your statement. According to the security tape, a dog killed Knightley in his cell. Then after he left the cell, the blood on the floor was wiped away. Ah, did the dog wipe away the blood stains? As if that could happen. That is possible of my Anubis, right boy? What? That was one of the tricks I taught him while I was still in the outside world. He makes sure to hide any bloodstains he makes. Yeah. And he tells me so. So as not to leave behind any evidence. Yeah, right, okay. I was saved, if only by chance. Shouldn't you have taught your dog to shake or something? Anubis also performs that trick very well, but the shake I taught him is a little different from the others. First he bites the victim's hand. Stop! I don't want to hear anymore. I see, I understand. Prosecutor Edgeworth, it appears you've gathered a good hand. I'm glad you understand. Objection! Our argument isn't over yet. Objection overruled. Ah, she overruled him. Excellent. Though I still think they're pretty good pals, though. Which can be good for him. For me. Hey now, that's a little harsh. Sebastian, would you allow me the privilege of explaining? Sure, Justine. Do you finally realize the murder occurred in the detention center, therefore that assassin's pet dog? My opinion has not changed unless I can understand how the dog was able to enter and leave the crime scene. I'm afraid I cannot accept your logic, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I've been waiting for you to say that. Now let me show you. This evidence shows the route the dog used to go between the detention center and prison. That still doesn't explain how he would have been able to enter the cell where the boxer was. Unless he can go through the bars, if the bars are not too close to one another. But he looks like a big dog, though. This photo shows a secret tunnel hidden in the prison. That's impossible! A secret tunnel? This tunnel was dug by the escaped prisoner, J. Albert. It begins in his prison cell, and it's connected to a holding cell in the detention center. Namely, the victim's cell. I'm shocked. How did this? Dogen, you must have known of this, since you used this tunnel to commit murder. In the name of the goddess of law, I hereby reject Prosecutor Edgeworth's claim.
Hold it!
What do you mean? Overruled. Evidence is everything. That remains true here, just as in the courtroom. Isn't that right? I have evidence here. Horace Knightley's autopsy report. Autopsy report? Since when? Why are you surprised? This was delivered straight from the police a short while ago. It's not complete yet, more of a preliminary report. Here, the very word of the Goddess of Law is written. Cause of death, stab wound to the neck, died instantly. Murder weapon, sharp metal object. Stabbed multiple times in the same spot with a sharp object. Although they were unable to determine the actual shape of the murder weapon, they have clear proof that it was a sharp metal object. So, do you still stand by your claim that a dog used a sharp object to kill the victim? This can't be. That is all. Court is adjourned.
Objection!
But wait, the tunnel contains the dog's footprints. Perhaps it may have been one of Anubis's walking courses. I can never tell what Anubis gets up to outside my cell. Something feels unnatural about all this, but I have no evidence. Courtney Pye, you sure pulled out a hidden gem at the very last moment. She waited for the perfect time to reveal the autopsy report. Have I let her out with me again? Appointed Attorney Shields. Here is the autopsy report from earlier. I apologize for the delay. No, it's alright. Thank you. Hehehe. It doesn't say anything we didn't know yet, except for what the murder weapon is. I gladly accept it. Mr. Shields, I don't believe it's necessary to hold hands while exchanging documents. I'd advise you to stop. Huh? Persist any longer, and I shall call on the strength of the Goddess of Law. I'll be careful. Justine, well done. Just as I planned. I only acted in accordance to your instructions. The autopsy report came straight from the police. I can't refute it. However, if the murder weapon wasn't a dog, Dogen will be cleared of suspicion. The merciful Goddess of Law so decrees. If you choose to yield now, your badge will not be taken. What will you do, sir? She says that, but... The answer remains the same. Judge Courtney, it is as I said before. I will see my job through. I will not yield to threats. So even now, you still refuse to give up? If you want to keep your badge, this may be your last chance. Right now, I am a defense attorney's assistant. What I protect is not my badge, but my client. The Goddess of Law grows weary of your sentiments. Hey, now we're talking. Miles is starting to understand that a defense attorney never gives up. Actually, those were the words of your old man. My father? It really isn't your blood. You're the spitting image of him right now. You said it yourself. You've changed since you were tainted by Von Karma. It's only now that I've actually come to believe it. Mr. Shields. Well then, Miles. Now's the time to put those skills to the test. Think beyond your limits. If the murder weapon was a sharp object, does that really negate your reasoning? The murder weapon was a sharp object. That's it! The chisel! There were 5 chisels placed inside the special cell. Dogen is a former assassin. It's quite possible he could kill someone with just a chisel. In that case, the weapon that killed Horace Knightley was... Is that all? Well then, I suppose you'll be giving up.
Hold it!
Evidence is everything, didn't you say? I don't know. Did I say that? Sharp metal object, however, such a weapon has yet to be found. So what are you trying to say? The only decisive evidence is the actual murder weapon itself. And that was in plain sight this whole time. The real murder weapon is... Dogen's chisel! What did you say? Overruled! Take responsibility for your own statements. The scene of the crime was Mr. Knightley's cell. You said so yourself. If the evidence changes, then so will my logic. That too is courtroom procedure, is it not? If the chisel was used, that means the killer was human. However, the fact remains that we cannot deny the security photo. Yeah, what about that photo? I'll give you the answer. This photo shows the moment... but I still believe that it's not a dog. It could have been any other animal that that was covered in the mud from that other guy. Dogen's dog leapt at nightly. However, the victim did not die at that time. Didn't die? He was only knocked unconscious. The dog didn't move a dead body, it moved the unconscious nightly. And the real killer was its owner. I see, if the victim was moved, it would have been possible for Dogen to commit the murder and use the murder weapon. Indeed, the killer is Saran Dogen. It can only be you. Is he blind or what? How can I be so tired when I slept so well? I bet your teacher used to write on your report card, needs to pay more attention on what others say. I would think that describes you more. We examined that room, every crook and granny. We examined all 4 of Mr. Dogen's chisels and found no traces of blood. Thank you, Judge Courtney. Thanks to you, I am now certain. Thanks to me? Whatever do you mean? When I came here earlier, I saw 5 chisels. That's right, there were definitely 5 there before. So the one that disappeared was the smallest one. Presumably for portable use. Dogen, where is that chisel? I'm not free to leave this place. I have no need of a portable chisel. Not free to leave. In that case, he mustn't have been free to hide the deadly chisel either. Dogen, you just dug your own grave. Seems you know something. Would you care to show it? Dogen couldn't leave, so the place he hid the chisel is his cell. Dogen is a prisoner, so he can't leave his cell freely. Perhaps he could have sent his dog out to dispose of it. But he would not have been able to confirm the weapon's location. So what does that leave? Above all else, special metal tools are allowed in this cell. Even if one chisel were to appear here, no one would suspect a thing. It'd be a fool not to take advantage of that. I see, of course, it's always safest if you do something yourself. When I examined everything, I didn't find any hiding places in this cell. We could use the metal detector to find it. Why am I so tired? I feel like someone drugged me or something. The reason you haven't found it is because it was cleverly hidden. You say I hid it? Where exactly? Think, where could he have hidden it? I have to remember everything up to this point. There must be some clue. Does this mean what I think it means? Let's get going. Mr. Edgeworth. Come to think of it, that dog hasn't barked at me once today. Previously, when I came to the special cell, it barked on Dogen's command. That's it. That's what's been out of place. There's just one place he could have hidden the murder weapon. Giving up already? Hehehe. How dull, how dull.
Hold it!
I will present evidence. Oh boy. That sounds dangerous. On the dog? Has your dog been awfully quiet today? Now that you mention it, it hasn't barked at all. Before it was. It's in its mouth. Dogan, open that dog's mouth now. Anubis doesn't bark needlessly. I ordered him to do that before. In that case, order it to bark now. Naturally, you should be able to if you have nothing to hide. Oh, is she about to do her job well now? It was inevitable. Anubis, show them your mouth. As you can see, a dog of this size can easily conceal a small chisel in its... What? Why a chisel? The dog really had one in its mouth? I thought he was unusually quiet. Was he unable to follow the discussion? Sebastian. Hush. Could you pull the forensics department urgently, please? And I thought she was corrupt. This chisel tests positive for blood. I guess that proves my theory wasn't just nonsense. Would this chisel be the murder weapon then? It reacted positively for blood. There is no doubt about that. Mr. Sarandogan, now that the murder weapon has been found, I must ask you for your testimony. We know how your dog got to the detention center. We found the murder weapon. Do you still think you can talk your way out of this? Somehow, I think you can. Interesting. This guy, even at a time like this, is still smiling. Well, Anubis, it seems everyone has become suspicious of you. It's quite troubling, but since it has come to this, we have no choice but to tell the truth. I did not kill anyone. I've long since grown weary of killing. What's this? His face looks completely composed. It seems we'll need to listen to Mr. Dogan's explanation. Please promptly give your testimony. Certainly. First of all, I would like you to explain my motive. I do not know anyone by the name of Knightley. We share no connection. That's not true. You play chess with him. So I wouldn't think some motive for murder would just appear out of nowhere. Or are you insinuating my Anubis had the motive? He only bears his fangs at others on my command. I do not hunger for blood so much as to kill a man I do not even know. Coming from an assassin, that sure is persuasive. An assassin who only kills acquaintances. I doubt that would be profitable. I may kill strangers in my line of work, but I never make it personal. Is there evidence that shows a connection between Knightley and Dogan? I should thoroughly review the evidence once more. There. That one was easy. You've lost your touch, Sarandogan. If you had your duck clean up after you, you should have disposed of this too. This is a record of a correspondence chess game found in the victim's cell. This record and the chessboard in your cell. Both clearly depict the same game. What? I've heard that the number of possible chess positions is around 10 at the power 120. 1 times 10, 120 times 100, 1000. Is that even a real number? Indeed, there's absolutely no way these two could have coincided by chance. Tell us your reason for killing Knightley. Unless you intend to explain this as a coincidence. Don't they say that the truth is stranger than fiction? It is as you said, this is merely a coincidence. But there's no way that could have happened. My correspondent's chess opponent was the victim in this incident. What a horrible coincidence. Aren't you shocked too, Anubis? Looks like I'll have to tell them the truth, Anubis, my boy. The animal show or something. That was when everyone left. Anubis brought the body to my cell. He had already been stabbed in the neck with the murder weapon. I did not wish to be suspected, so I had Anubis carry the body to the workroom. After that, he pulled out the murder weapon and returned to me. So you're saying the one who pulled the weapon out was Anubis? That's right, if I pulled out the murder weapon here, the blood would have been a problem. Mr. Edgeworth, isn't this what that saw-it guy said? A large black dog was biting into the neck of the victim. What did you say? It was a truly hellish scene. That dog killed him. I see, so that means Saw-It witnessed the moment that the murder weapon was pulled out. Ah yes, that prisoner's testimony. It surprised me when I first heard it. It's not often that Anubis makes a blunder like that, right boy? Now, I believe that explains my actions. I did not kill him. All I did was remove the murder weapon. Now, will that be all? Anubis is getting tired.
Objection!
Whoa there, just a moment, Mr. Dogen. Mr. Shields. Isn't there one thing you haven't explained? Why would you need to pull out the murder weapon in the first place? That's right. I understand why it moved the body to draw suspicion away from him, but he didn't need to, do whatever it is that he was supposed to do. I thought him just a fool, but how quickly his scent has changed. Care to elaborate, Mr. Dogen? It was because of this bell. The bell attached to the murder weapon and the bell on my dog's neck. They share a they share a distinctive shape, wouldn't you say? The assassin's Saran Dogen's trademark. An assassin's trademark? The blind assassin Saran Dogen, he always appears at the sound of a bell. The sound of a bell ringing in the dark of night is said to be the last thing its target hears. Okay, you remember well. It has been a while since you last saw my bells after all. When I prosecuted you in court, I confiscated a knife with the bell attached to it. Yes, my bells. There are only 2 in the world. Yeah, and it's a complete coincidence that you have attached a bell to your chisel now. Only 2? They're custom made, attached to my knife and Anubis's collar. Even though I can only rely on my ears, I can easily identify them. Alas, one has been confiscated and is not in my possession. When Anubis brought the body here, I heard a familiar sound. I thought my knife must have been embedded in the body, so I imagined my confusion when I found that it was merely a chisel with my bell attached. Indeed, your knife is nothing like this chisel. Either way, those bells are my trademark. Moreover, I'm the only one in this prison who uses chisels. With all this, I knew I would be falsely suspected. So I removed the murder weapon and hid it.
Hold it!
So you're claiming that you only moved the body? Didn't I tell you that chisel isn't mine? If you think I'm lying, yeah, well, I do think you're lying. Me? But how do I check for forensics? Yes, ma'am. Oops. R. Reaction, we have fingerprints. They're Knightley's. Justine. What about Dogen's? Nope. Just Knightley's. And there's no evidence of prints being wiped either. Only Knightley's fingerprints. It can't be. Should we re-examine it? See now? I never even touched that chisel, because I ordered Anubis to carry it in his mouth. In other words, the fingerprints belong to the chisel's original owner. The murder weapon's owner was the victim? This is perplexing. I'm hot. At any rate, I did not touch the murder weapon. In other words, the killer could not have been me. Isn't that right? I have nothing to refute that. How could this? Is he really not the killer? Could Dogen's testimony actually be true? This can't be. It seems that this is sufficient enough to warrant any further explanation. Enough not to warrant any further explanation. Okay, sorry. As it stands, you have not changed the state of this case. I believe this is more than enough reason for us to relieve you of your badge. To save any needless fuss, I'd suggest you hand over your badge now. Do I have to? Do I really have to? Do judges have that kind of authority on prosecutors? They sound serious. With those prints as decisive evidence, I'll have to rethink my logic from step one. But there are still many unexplained things. Why would Mr. Knightley be carrying a chisel? Oops, sorry. It could be used for many things, perhaps even prison escapes. Well then, how did he carry it into the prison? I mean, the prisoners aren't even allowed cutlery. Right, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth? Even if your reasoning is off at first, you shouldn't let that confuse you. The most important thing is to arrive at the truth, isn't that right? It doesn't matter how you get there. The end result is to save Simon. We have to do everything we can for his sake. Well said, Kay. Nice one, Kay. I really want to scout you for the law firm now. Remember when Uncle Ray said a defense attorney never gives up? Miles, do you understand the true meaning behind those words? The true meaning of those words. Defense attorneys carry the fate of their client on their shoulders. You are the only person your client can rely on. Just like with Mr. Keys, we're the only ones who can save him. We're the only one who can save him now. We are linked by fate to our clients. That is why we must never give up. There is no way Uncle Ray can go against the teachings of Gregory. So, what would you do? Give up. Currently, I'm a defense attorney's assistant. No, an assistant at my father's firm. I have made a commitment to this case. Therefore, if I don't save my client, I cannot say I've achieved it. I will abide by this to save Simon Keys. No matter how many times my logic fails, I will always find another possibility. Okay, you're finally back. Well then, let's search for that other possibility. To start with, do you think there was a way Mr. Knightley could have brought the chisel into the prison? Chessboard? It was their idea actually at first. Still gonna save before I do that. Chessboard.
Take that!
Normally, metal objects can't be brought into the detention center of the prison. They'd just be caught by the security gate. However, there is one way to avoid things. And that is if they are sent in a package to the detention center. That gate is only used on people. In other words, packages sent to the detention center undergo a simple check. So they don't use a metal detector for that? This never should have happened. It seems the guards were too careless. Knowing this, Knightley asked Simon to send him a package, namely a chessboard containing the chisel. Well, this has solved one of our problems, the fact that the chisel was not Mr. Dogen's, but Mr. Knightley's. Given this, one major issue remains. The security camera shows a dog attacking the victim. As long as that exists, I will maintain that Dogen is the killer. But Dogen never touched a murder weapon. I'm stumped. We also desire a conclusion to this matter. Mr. Edgeworth, we can use one of my secret weapons, sir. Secret weapon number 4, the video analyzing machine. Mr. Analysis. What's with that ridiculous name? I named it myself, sir. This will let us analyze video footage in detail. Go ahead, you'll soon see I'm not lying. I don't know what will come of this, but all we can do now is investigate. Do you know how to use Mr. Analysis? No, but you're gonna tell me. Yeah, tell me, because that might be better than trying to figure things out. Could you show me how to use it? Hold on a minute. Okay, sorry. Fundamentally, it's the same as investigating a crime scene. You just examine anything that piques your curiosity. To examine, I just press the X button. I might need the stylus for this. Now I'd like you to look at the buttons below the monitor. The left and right buttons will rewind and fast forward respectively, and the center button lets you pause the video. It's kind of like in that final, that 5th case that was added to the Nintendo DS version of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Yeah, okay. Skip the explanation, I think I can figure this out. Come to think of it. Okay, go to the previous frame or next frame. Just use the same left and right buttons as before, sir. Yeah, right. Okay. This is long. Yeah, actually, it's not complicated. I didn't really need to hear the explanation. Use Mr. Analysis to examine any suspicious part of the video, sir. This is the video from the detention center's camera. I believe this was the moment when Knightley was being attacked by the dog. If that wasn't the case, then what does it show? Is the person in this video really Knightley? I always said that it wasn't him because it looks like a guard's uniform. And what is the true form of the black silhouette attacking the person? I should check the video and try to find the answers to these 2 questions. There could be unexpected things in unexpected places, so be sure to check every nook and cranny of the video, sir. Hold on. Well, it's what he's wearing. It's clearly a uniform. Come on. Yeah, like this. What do you mean nothing here? Come on! You can clearly see it's a uniform, damn it. I was hoping to see something in the mirror, but... Okay, well, it doesn't look like a dog to me. This is... I fear we have made a grave miscalculation. This animal, this silhouette, no matter how you look at it, it is not a dog. Looks more like the polar bear, if anything. Now, you could argue, well, yeah, but it's black, so it can't be the polar bear. But then, I would argue that, well, saw it, that guy was, putting mud on them or something like that, and made them look all black, making them look all black because that was good for their hair or something like that. This animal is, I don't know, it looks more like a bear to me, isn't it? From the silhouette, I'd say the animal is not a dog but a bear. So then in that photo I took, those footprints must have belonged to this bear, yes. Tunnel footprints data updated in my organizer, yeah. Did you say a bear? Yes, that man is the first to come to mind. Now that we know this black shadow isn't a dog but a bear, there's a good possibility that the man being attacked is not Nightly. Whatever can show that this man isn't Nightly should be somewhere in the video, wouldn't it, sir? Since his face is not visible, it would be difficult to get direct confirmation. The clothes, damn it! The clothes! However, perhaps there is something indirectly reflected. Hey, isn't there a mirror in the cell, sir? Indeed. Could be worth examining. This is a guard's hat, isn't it? A reflection of this person can be seen in this mirror. Is that a cap on his head? Actually, it looks kinda like the caps the prison guards wear, sir. You don't think it was a guard who was attacked? Or someone dressed as one? If you received a report of any guard being attacked by an animal? No, not that I've heard, sir. Then it was someone else wearing a guard's uniform. I see. I have evidence that shows that this cap is... It is. This uniform, the stolen one. There was no report of a guard being attacked by an animal. However, we did hear that a guard's uniform was stolen. Putting two and two together, I'd say this was a disguise. For the purpose of a prison escape. Disguised as a guard? That sounds like it could have been successful, sir. Huh? Speaking of prison escapes, indeed, that person certainly was successful. Maybe it's not someone being attacked, maybe it's the bear following him and attaching itself to him and they were happy, maybe, or something? I don't know. we're all under the impression that the person in this video was Knightley. But all you managed to do is prove that it's not his dog, and so therefore that doesn't tie Saran Dogan to the murder of Knightley anyway. But it's Itzel after all. Why would it be anyone else? That line of logic no longer holds. Remember the tunnel under his bed? It's possible whoever used this tunnel is the one in this video. It seems it is time to answer that question. Just who is the person in this video? Do I have it? Oh yeah, he's here. Jailbird. The person wearing the guard's uniform is the escaped prisoner Jailbird. The probability is extremely high. His pet is a polar bear cub. But the bear here is black. We have evidence that can explain this matter. The reason the polar bear became black is it in my inventory, that one? Or the glove, maybe. Yes, Sowet's mud packs. Is that it?
Take that.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, that's it. Think back to Frank Sowet's testimony. That's the rubber glove I dropped. Where did the mud on this glove come from? Ah, that's the mud from my mud packs. At the time I was practicing applying my mud packs. Could you tell me when this took place on the day of the incident? Since the animal show had started, I'd say it was around 9 AM. The mud packs turned the animal's bodies pitch black, and my heart was pure white. I was totally engrossed with covering the animals in mud. During the animal show, Mr. Sowet was applying mud packs to the animals. So then, among those animals, was this polar bear? Yes. Prosecutor Edgeworth, there is a huge contradiction in your argument. Oh yeah? Where? The security camera footage. Judge Courtney, you are quite right. Sowet used the mud packs during the animal show. Knowing this, a new contradiction in the video comes to light. A new contradiction? Okay, do you know when this footage was taken? It was after the mud packs were used. That would put... Oh wait. It was... okay, it's not a question. It's an affirmation. It was after the mud packs were used. That would put it at around 9 AM. In that case, you should notice something strange about this video. What's strange about it? The timestamp? The timestamp? Yeah. The time Sowet covered the polar bear in mud was around 9 AM. Which means this video should also have been taken at 9 AM. Or is it PM maybe? Is it at night? Is that possible? Hold on. It's a mess of cable on my desk right now. Okay, timestamp reads 6 AM. On that day, the prisoners went to the courtyard to watch the animal show. At this time, only 3 people remained behind. Dogan in the special cell, Sowet in the workroom applying his mud packs, and the one who put his escape plan in motion at that moment, J. Elbird. Elbird left the polar bear in Sowet's care and entered the secret tunnel. However, the bear escaped from Sowet and followed after its owner. And just as he was chasing after the escaped bear, Sowet happened to witness the dog pulling the murder weapon out of the body. If Sowet's testimony is correct, this video must have been taken at around 9 AM. However, the timestamp is off by 3 hours. Why would the timestamp be off like that? Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to examine the security camera. Yeah, is the time on it actually right? Like the clock of it, maybe it's not... maybe it's late or something. Sorry. Sorry to keep you waiting, sir. I asked all the guards and... It seems the camera's power was cut off for a moment, throwing off the timestamp. The camera is an old model, so if it loses power, the clock stops as well. In that case, this means the camera's power was cut for 3 hours. Timestamp is off by 3 hours. The footage was actually taken at 9 AM. Okay. While I'm at it, I've got some more information for you, sir. You heard that Knightley denied stealing the key, right? It seems nobody would believe the words of a criminal, but... You know what? It seems pretty weird to me that the body would have been moved through the tunnel that comes out at Jailbird's cell, and that he would use the same tunnel to flee or something to make his escape. I mean, doesn't it not seem weird to me? Like, was he an accomplice or something? Because if the body was transported that way, Jailbird would have noticed, right? The big black dog coming out of the tunnel in his cell. It doesn't make much sense, I feel. It's pretty weak. I was knocked out too. That may not necessarily be a lie. My, there you all are. Making progress in your investigation? Can I be of any help? Actually, Warden Roland, there is something we must report to you. The escaped prisoner, Jailbird, is most likely still inside the prison. He has disguised himself. Here's the proof. The person visible in the security video is Jailbird, so perhaps he's still in this very building. Well, he's not one of these two guys, that's for sure. Come to think of it, didn't Mr. Elbert have a bracelet like the other prisoners? The bracelet would have been concealed under the uniform sleeves. Moreover, the prison's main gate does not have a sensor to detect bracelets. All he would have to do is avoid any doors with sensors inside the prison. That's right, so if he didn't enter the cells or the workrooms, could one of you guys be Jailbird? Ah, Rocky! Is he also wearing a mask? I mean, I don't mean to be rude or considered as racist, especially at the moment, but he doesn't look black. It would seem that Rocky has answered that question for us. I mean, he is, right? Okay, well, maybe he isn't. Well, not that much, anyway. It would seem that Rocky has answered that question for us. Okay, well, it's him then. Rocky, this is all your fault. The little guy loves you so much. It's enviable. Right then, seize him at once. Wait, there's something we must hear from this prisoner. It's necessary if we are to find the truth. I'd like permission to interrogate him. Understood. What do you want out of me? Albert's escape route, is it linked to Knightley's cell? So it's highly likely he knows something about a crime. When the body was found. So it was you guys. You were the ones who found my secret tunnel. It took me ages to dig that. The day the body was found was the day I had planned to escape. I was in disguise. Then Rocky followed after me, but he was all covered in mud. I panicked and returned to my cell. Damn, if only you guys hadn't shown up. If only Knightley hadn't died. You say you dug the tunnel. What did you use to dig it? Oh, that. Just hammers and spoons, stuff like that. I bought them from the supplier, but it was all for nothing. Yeah. No need to lose your temper. There's always next time. On the day of the incident, it's possible that Albert met Knightley while he was alive. I'll have to listen to his testimony carefully. You were the ones who found my secret tunnels. Took me ages to dig that. The day the body was found was the day I had planned to escape. I was in disguise. Then Rocky followed after me, but he was all covered in mud. I panicked and returned to my cell. Oh yeah, I didn't press on anything actually. Yeah, Nothing of interest here. Nothing of interest here. Yeah, did you see more?
Hold it.
Did you obtain the guard's uniform from the supplier too? Yeah, that's right. Seems he got hit. He got it by threatening a guard. That guy went and stole it from someone's locker. So when you went through the tunnel, you were already dressed like a guard? No, to ensure that the clothes wouldn't get stained with mud, I carried them with me. Good thinking. Again, it's the Shawshank Redemption all over again, because Tim Robbins isn't wearing his clean clothes on him while he is going through the tunnel. Well, actually, his tunnel goes to a part of the prison, and from there he goes through like a pipe with all the shit that comes out from the prison's toilet or something, and he has his clothes in a bag or something that he is pulling with him, and then he dresses up well, once he is outside and after he's cleaned up a bit, I guess. But it's raining in the scene in the film, so I guess he washes all the shit away using the rain. And then he opens the bag and then puts on the clothes. And then he goes to the bank in the morning to withdraw all the money that he moved from the warden's bank account to one of his own or something like that. But anyway, go watch it. If you've never watched Shawshank Redemption, it's a cool movie. Once I got out of the hole and changed clothes, getting out the cell doors was simple. And that's when Rocky ran up and jumped on me. That must be the moment the security camera captured. I see. Could you add that to your testimony? Once I got out of the hole and changed clothes, getting out the cell doors was simple. Should I press that too?
Hold it.
Getting out the cell door was simple, you say? Yeah, compared to going through the tunnel, it was very simple. You inhabit a prison, yet you seem to know the layout of the detention center quite well. What, he was there before being moved to his cell, right? What's wrong about that? Sure, I've been to the detention center too. In that case, you should have known about it from the start. When Knightley was in his cell, the door would have been locked. Which means there was one piece of evidence Albert needed to escape. Okay, so I have to present the keys there. Present, not present. Objection! You didn't have the keys. Or did you? You say it was simple getting through the cell door? Yeah, that's right. You got a problem with that, huh? Even though you managed to arrive at Knightley's cell, opening the door wasn't so simple. How did you intend to unlock the cell door? Jailbird, you had the key to Knightley's cell. I ain't got nothing like that. That's it. It was open. It was already unlocked when I got there. The footage shows the contrary, doesn't it? I think it does. Yeah, obviously I can't check it myself. At the time we conducted our investigation, it was unlocked. Your successful escape attempt occurred after Knightley's death, so the door would have been open. However, you had tried to escape once before then. The plan was foiled thanks to Rocky. The video shows it. Yes, that was during the animal show, before Knightley's death was known. And the cell door was locked, because no one knew he was dead. Without the key to Knightley's cell, your escape would have been impossible. Where's the key now? It's exactly what you think. In the case of the stolen key, the culprit is J. L. Bird. You were the one who attacked the guard, weren't you? The guard, and Knightley too, in order to steal the cell key. It wasn't me. I don't know any Knightley. After stealing the key, you returned to your cell as a precautionary measure. Then you waited for a time when the prison would be mostly vacant. That was just before Knightley's death became known. In other words, during the animal show, but in the end, the plan was foiled thanks to Rocky. Don't screw with me. If you don't have evidence, I'll still win by decision. Besides, it was that Knightley guy who attacked the guard, right? I think not. Regarding the theft of the keys, Knightley was the victim. This proves Knightley was the victim who was attacked in his cell. this? What proves it? The autopsy report? Or the floor, maybe? Died. Wait. Has a sweet scent. Small bruises on his head. Yeah, maybe the bruises are the result of him being knocked out. I don't know if this is what he means.
Take that.
Does this really prove it? Of course. No, it doesn't. Okay. If you say so, then I get the feeling he was definitely the victim. Prosecutor, it's worth this evidence proves nothing. Yeah, okay, well, I lost. Do I? Do I? Oh, okay. Never mind. Never mind. The wiped floor, then.
Take that.
In Knightley's cell, there were traces of his blood, which had been wiped away. I believe this is more than enough proof Knightley was attacked in his cell. You attacked those two people and stole the key, didn't you? Greg! Damn. I never thought you'd find the bloodstained I wiped away with the newspaper. Well, it was pretty obvious, sorry to say. Why would you go through all the trouble of wiping the bloodstain? On the hands of Knightley and the guard, there were obvious signs of a scuffle, you know? If the bloodstains were uncovered, they'd find out there was another attacker, and if anyone looked around the bed, the tunnel I dug would be discovered. So you were trying to buy more time for your escape attempt. But I'm afraid to say your plan still ended in failure. Now then, hand over the keys to Knightley's cell. Grr, grr, hey, Gwarg. Damn it! Oh, okay. KO! Oh, the bear is back. No way, how could an amateur like you knock me out? Here, I got the keys right here. Oh, okay. That was easy. On the day before the body was found, the guard was attacked and the key was taken by Elbert. And the guard didn't notice that the keys were gone? Overruled! Hold it, if you have that key, then that means... That's right, Judge Courtney. You reasoned that Knightley stole the key and used it to leave his cell. From there, he entered Mr. Key's cage and was moved to the workroom. However, the very foundation of that hypothesis has collapsed. Ah! Ow! I see. In that case, there was only one person who could have moved Knightley. The criminal must have been someone who knew about the secret tunnel. Hey, are you suggesting... Jailbird, you're under arrest, pal! He's already a prisoner, so, well, although I guess you can still be put under arrest for another crime you committed in the prison, I suppose. I didn't do nothing. Sure, I knocked out those two guys, then I stole the keys, and after that, I waited for the perfect time to enter that guy's cell. But the cell was empty then. There was no dead body either. But if it was moved through the tunnel in your cell, it's kinda hard to believe. But I already said that. Then I don't know what to think of this. Also, how could I have gotten into the workroom? I couldn't even leave my own cell, right? It's true, you only had the key to Knightley's cell, but there's also Dogen's dog. What? It'd be possible for the dog to carry the body from the cell to the workroom? With the door closed? So you're saying there was an accomplice. The crime would have been possible if Elbert and Dogen were working together. It's perfectly plausible. Somehow, Elbert managed to carry Knightley's body to his own cell. But wasn't the door to the cell locked? And then the dog must have carried it to the workroom. Yes, because all the animals can move freely in the prison. Yeah, that part makes sense. Because they have a collar as well, and the doors react to it or something like that. But that's not the case for the path between the detention center and the prison. The only one who could use that route was you, Jailbird. What if there was another route that you didn't know about? There couldn't have been. The tunnel is a straight path, is it not? Yeah, seems like it. I didn't have enough time to dig any more than I did. I only dug halfway up the corridor. What? You mean to say you didn't dig the entire tunnel? When I got to that cell, the tunnel was already there. What the heck? There was a tunnel linking my cell to the well. But looking down the well from the courtyard, there's no mistaking it. They've always been connected. I just continued the tunnel with my digging. What was that hole doing there in the first place? Who knows? Maybe another inmate dug it in an attempt to escape. Or maybe the animals dug it. Maybe they wanted to drink from the well. That's highly doubtful. There's no water in that well anymore. It's all dried up. Wait a minute. That's it. For some reason, that well gave off a nice scent. A nice scent? I don't know what it was, but it smelled sweet like candy. This scent. I believe we've come across it before. We know this scent from the body.
Take that!
Knightley's body was giving off a sweet candy-like scent. We used the police dog to track that scent, and that led us to discover the tunnel. By any chance, could this be the same scent as the well? Prosecutor Edgeworth, I know what you're trying to say. That the scent proves the body was carried down through the tunnel. Exactly, and Jailbird, you are the only one who could have used the tunnel. Thank you, Mr. Albert. I am very grateful to you. Why does he say thank you? At last the truth comes to light. Mr. Albert, wouldn't it be wise to confess now? To being an accomplice, I mean. Don't tell me even you suspect me too. Judge Courtney, it seems you and I have come to the same conclusion. Not at all. Our thoughts on this matter are still quite different. Mr. Albert was certainly an accomplice, but an accomplice to Horace Knightley.
Hold it!
What do you mean? Mr. Albert did not move the body. He simply lent the victim his keys. What? It would seem Mr. Albert did indeed strike Mr. Knightley on the head. However, Mr. Knightley was not knocked out. The two must have made a little negotiation. Negotiation? For Mr. Knightley's escape plan to work, he would have needed the keys to his cell, so Mr. Albert stole them from the guard. On the other hand, for Mr. Albert to escape, he needed to get to Mr. Knightley's cell. But if Mr. Knightley had seen him and yelled, the plan would have gone down the drain. And so, they negotiated. I didn't negotiate nothing! Oh, you still intend to deny it? I see. So in other words, we're back where we started. Mr. Albert opened the cell door and Mr. Knightley entered Mr. Key's cage. And then he was moved into the prison. She still insists that the body was not taken through the tunnel. Of course, and then he was killed in the prison workroom. Weren't you listening? The scent on the body shows it must have been moved through the tunnel. Knightley was moved from the detention center through the tunnel. Why overruled? Please wait until someone is finished before speaking. I do not claim that he wasn't moved through the tunnel. What? You don't? The scent shows that the body was moved through the tunnel. However, that doesn't mean... Ah, crap, I pressed too quickly again. What do you mean? That sure sounds like a contradiction to me. Isn't there one more possibility? The well in the courtyard. It's possible the body was dropped down from there. The courtyard? Ah, the one in the courtyard. Mr. Keys carried the cage not to the workroom but to the courtyard? Well, if you didn't know about the tunnel, I guess you can't really argue with her on that one. But I don't know. Because the dog followed the scent to the cell. To Albert's cell. So would the sweet scent carry from the part of the tunnel that's under the well all the way to the cell, and the dog would have smelled it like that way? Come on. That sounds hardly plausible. Mr. Knightley was killed in the courtyard and his body was dropped down the well. So you say, yeah? And then the body at the bottom of the well was moved by Mr. Dogan's dog. Now, there's one thing I'd like you all to remember. Before the body was discovered, what was happening, I guess. Yeah, is what she said, although I pressed the button a bit too soon again. The animal show, right. Regina and Simon were there. Wait, Simon? Ah! I see you understand. Ah, crap, I keep pressing the button too quickly. Judge Courtney, she's a tough opponent. Okay, so she's suggesting that he dropped the body during the show or something? Her flexible way of thinking enables her to adapt and come up with her own deductions. Mr. Knightley was not carried to the workroom but to the courtyard, and Mr. Keys was off stage for 15 minutes. This was when he dropped Mr. Knightley down the well. It's as simple as that.
Objection!
Judge Courtney, your reasoning... blah. However, let's say the body was dropped down the well. That didn't have to be done during the show. It could have happened at a different time. Unfortunately for you, Prosecutor Edgeworth, that is not possible. What? When the show started, Mr. Albert was in the tunnel, on his way to the cell block. Mr. Albert, at that time, did you happen to see a body in the tunnel? Nope, nothing like that. So if the body had been dropped before the show, Mr. Albert would have seen it. However, he has stated he did not see a body, but didn't he say that he smelled the sweet scent already at that time? So it is impossible to think the body was dropped before the show, and after the show the body was discovered in the workroom. In other words, the body being dropped down the well and then moved to the workroom could only have been done during the show. And the only one who could have done it is Simon Keys. Miss Edgeworth, what should we do? If the body was moved through the well, that does put Mr. Keys at a major disadvantage. However, the notion that the body was moved through the well is only a hypothesis. That doesn't mean there is evidence. I am obligated to recognize that fact. Will you allow me to investigate the courtyard once more? I give my approval in the name of the Goddess of Law. Reinvestigating the courtyard. I fear this may be our final chance. What's that? An escape? Fire! Could be another prison break, pal. Should we evacuate? Everyone, please remain calm. This is just a signal for the evening meal. It's a little loud, so I can understand why you'd be surprised. Yeah, I was surprised, alright. It sure scared me. I'm terribly sorry. And with that, everyone, please return to your posts. J. Albert, it's also time for you to return to your room. I got it. Let's go, Rocky. Warden Roland, we will be proceeding to the courtyard for another investigation. Isn't it time for you to go home as well, Mr. Edgeworth? It looks like we're out of time. Why don't you continue this another time? But the investigation. Today's been a big day, right? With the escaped prisoner and all. So I'm afraid I can't let outsiders like you loiter around any longer. This is my decision as the warden of this prison. Looks like it can't be helped. The warden's word can't be called the law of the prison. Prosecutor Edgeworth, this means we will have to carry out our investigation another day. I'm afraid any evidence that was left there will be tampered with before I can have a look at it. This is not good. Until then, you may hold on to your Prosecutor badge. And with that, I leave you. Now I think it's time you all left. Well, it looks like we'll have to continue the investigation tomorrow. Knightley's body was dropped down the well and was carried to the workroom from Mr. Albert's cell. This is just Judge Courtney's logic, but is it correct? And Judge Courtney claims that Mr. Keyes transported him, but was Mr. Keyes really the only one with a chance to move him? It's Edgeworth, let's do our best tomorrow. We have to save Simon, no matter what. Indeed, I agree. I must prove Mr. Keyes' innocence without fail. Final part of this case. The circus stage is gone. The courtyard. Depending on what we find here, the entire incident could become clear. However, there's nothing left here. Yesterday. Isn't there one more possibility? The well in the courtyard. It's possible the body was dropped down from there. In other words, the body being dropped down the well and then moved to the workroom. Could only have been done during the show. And the only one who could have done it is Simon Keyes. Yeah, but it's locked. There's a padlock on the grate covering the well. Was it dropped down the well or not? This could be the decisive clue that we need to reach the truth of the matter. Before I continue with the investigation, I should organize my evidence. Unnecessary evidence has been removed. Remaining evidence has been rearranged. Let's see here. Hey, there's a grate here. The well has run dry after all. They even put a lock on it. Lockpicking is one of my specialties. Wanna see? There is absolutely no need for you to show off. Oh, come on, don't be like that. What happened, Kay? The lock is broken. Judging from the looks of it... Oh, okay. Well, there goes my hope that this would have proved that it was impossible. Well, that would have been too easy. Feels like it was broken some time ago. So the lock was broken. This means that anyone could have dropped the body down this well. According to Judge Courtney's reasoning, Mr. Keyes murdered Knightley in the courtyard, and then during the show, he disposed of the body in the well. You think so? Did he really use the well to move the body? I know. Let's get Missile to help us out again. He should be able to track the scent of the body. Good idea. Let me contact Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Detective Gumshoe here. Detective, I have a favor to ask of you. We would like for you to bring Missile to the prison courtyard. Sounds like you need the help of one of my 7 secret weapons again, huh, sir? Thought Missile belonged to the police department. And also, I would like for you to contact a witness. Please contact Regina Berry of the Berwick Circus and bring her here. Roger that, sir. I'll bring them over in a flash. Oh, sorry. What was that? Wiggle that finger more, Hitchyworth. Hello everyone. Hello, Jeff. How's it going today? So what should we do while we wait for Gummy? How about some hide and seek? What are you talking about, Kay? There's nowhere to hide here. I don't think that is the issue. Doing great, thank you. The day is about to end though. Yup. Yeah. Bit tired myself. But otherwise, I'm okay. Okay, during times like this, isn't it your turn to shine? Oh, that. You want me to recreate the crime scene? Huh? How would you do that? Oh yeah, she still has that gadget from the first game, I guess. From the previous one, I should say. See for yourself, the Great Thief's secret weapon, Little Thief. Whoa, what's that? Screen's floating in midair? Just what are you doing, Kay? I'm entering the information needed for the simulation. Mr. Shields, this Little Thief is a tool that can recreate a crime scene based on the information that is given. Well, actually, it was a tool for a thief originally, but should I set it for how this place was like when we came in here yesterday? Yes, I believe they were in the middle of taking down the set. We didn't pay enough attention to the well, so it's possible we may have missed a clue. Leave it to me. I took a picture of the place too. Was the padlock already broken the day before? Or was it broken overnight? While we were prevented from examining the scene. There, and there. Yeah, it's a good one. It's pretty upbeat. Data entry complete. Now to set the projection to maximum output. Dark skies of evening, when no other bird dares take wing. One alone remains all-seeing. Now witness the true power of a real modern-day Robin Hood. What? What just happened? I recreated the courtyard from yesterday based on the information I entered. This was a tool the previous Yatagarasu used. It's a device to run simulations to practice stealing things. Yeah, that's what I meant to say earlier, yeah. But used in this manner, we can inspect the crime scene as it was in the past. Oh, but it's still only a recreation based on what information we have. I can't recreate what I don't have information for, and if my information is incorrect, the recreation could come out strange too. In this case, since Kay had the photo, there should be no problems. Now, let's begin the investigation. Since it's a recreation, you can examine things just like you always do. You can even present evidence when you find a contradiction. Yes, I know. First, I should start with that well. Okay, let's examine the area around the well. It holds the key to this case. This is a metal weight. It weighs... It's hard to see in the recreation. Okay, do you remember? Yeah, it was 15 kilograms, 33. Yeah, well, there we go. 33 pounds. I wonder what such a heavy thing was used for. It doesn't seem to be directly related to the circus. How is the state in game? Is Edgelord still out of the case officially because of that totally on the bad side mallet sassy lady? Well, he's still kind of like an assistant to the defense, I guess. Well, he's not lost his prosecutor's badge yet, although he came close. Yeah, the day before. The day before in game. The rope. It's a sturdy looking rope. It looks like the rope they use for tug of wars. I'm not going to play tug of war with you. I didn't even say anything. There's a metal stake attached to the end of the rope. Ah. You use these to pin down the tent when you go camping, or you could use that to pin down the rope so that you could use it to climb down the well as well, I should think. It doesn't seem like they need this for the performance. I wonder what it was used for. Come on. There are some pulleys here. They don't appear to be the pulley that was used to lift the bucket from the well. Sheets. Tug of war is a game where people grab on the rope on opposite sides and pull. Yeah, and usually with a big pile of shit in the middle. Yeah. Well, mud. So that those that get pulled, well, they get pulled in the mud or whatever it is that's in the middle. At least that's that's how I see the game being played anyway, in my mind. The well was behind the stage. That means only a few people would have access to dump the body in the well during the performance. This isn't looking good for Mr. Keys. These things around the well, what were they used for? Pulleys, metal weights, and ropes, what could they be used for? I will wager that that might have been used actually not to drop the body through the well, but to pull up the body from the bottom of the well. Maybe. Because the guy was tied with ropes. I mean, the body, the body of Knightley was bound with ropes, I think, when it was found. They don't seem to be related to the animal show. I agree, we can ask Miss Berry about it later. Okay. Hey, the elephant is still there. What was the elephant's name again? She's Aztec the Asian elephant, star of the show, along with Regent, Tiger, and Simon. Ah, that's right. It's an easy name to remember. Maybe they couldn't think of a good name, so they gave her a name that's easy to remember. Miss Edgeworth, what a terrible thing to say about poor Aztec. Aztec. That's all the information we can gather for now. The detective should be here soon, too. Okay, go ahead and shut down Little Thief. Alright. Returning the area to normal. Sorry to keep you waiting, sir. Hey, speak of the gummy. Detective Gumshoe, that was quick. I couldn't keep you waiting for too long, sir. Thanks for coming along too, Regina. No problem, it sounded like fun, so I skipped practice to come here. Yeah, everything always sounds fun to her. Thank you for your cooperation. First, Detective, let's have Missile do some tracking. No problem, sir. Hey, Missile, over here, pal. And I bet she's gonna find him cute or something. Oh, hey, what's eating you, pal? I said over here. What's the matter? It looks like he's scared of something, sir. Oh, the alligator. What was his name again? Like a cute name or something? Ali the alligator. I guess he's scared of the alligator, sir. Good grief. Looks like Missile won't be much help to us. Ali, yeah. So what should we do, Miles? Maybe we can ask Miss Berry for help. What is it? What is it? Is there something I can do? Do you want me to teach Ali a trick? Actually, she probably could. No, I just need you to tell me about the condition of the courtyard during the show. Looks like it's my time to shine again. Yes, if you please. Alright, that should do it. I'm starting up the recreation now. Recreation complete. This time you can see how the courtyard was during the animal show. It should be around the time the body was dropped down the well. Love it so much whenever he does the finger wiggle. Finger wiggle. Wow, cool, it's just like magic. Hehehe, it's not magic. I just recreated the scene based on the information you gave us. See, look over there. During the show, at 8 AM, the backstage area is missing. Well, Regina didn't help with the preparations, so she doesn't really know how it was set up. I get it, you can't recreate what you don't have the info for, huh? I'm sorry, it's because Simon took care of setting everything up. Don't worry yourself none, Regina Pie. Miles is the one at fault here. Why me? Miss Edgeworth, I've recreated the show in progress. But I can also change it to how it was earlier when it was being taken down. I see, so we can examine the courtyard during the show and after the show. We can freely switch between the two different states. To change the recreation, select Little Thief on the bottom screen. Now, let's begin the investigation. At this point in time, we still don't have enough information about this area. Please steal some information. I don't steal information. I obtain it through my investigation and logic. Well, come to think of it, What can I perhaps connect together using logic? I wouldn't want to arrest you, blah blah blah. Tools around the well. Metal weights placed near the well. Each one weighs 33 pounds. Or could the elephant have been used to pull something from down the well or something? I wouldn't want to miss you, blah blah blah. The pieces don't fit together. Quite right. Ah, okay, that's not it. Do you come here often, Regina? Yes, I have many friends here. I love this place. Yes, she loves prison. For whatever reason. Yesterday, Miss Warden introduced me to a new friend, Little Allie, the alligator who lurks in the pond in the courtyard. That pond, if you get too close, it feels like you'll get gulped. I don't think Little Allie would do such a thing. Her stomach wasn't feeling very well yesterday. I'm worried. Aren't you all worried too? Right? Yes, of course. We're all worried, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Don't drag me into this. Mr. Edgeworth, you've got that look on your face like you want to use my secret weapon, sir. Missile isn't in the mood, but I've got my fishing rod ready to go. Or would you prefer the metal detector? Well, maybe it's best if I use the metal detector, I guess. I've never seen the detective's eyes sparkle like that. If need be, I'll let you know. For now, just stand by. Okay. Crap, yeah. This is not a touch screen, the one on the left. I would like to see Von Karma with ladies respond to Ray. How about a hug? Yeah, he'd get whipped. More than likely. A love story between an elephant and a tiger. I really wanted to see that. I also wanted to see Simon in action. Simon is really amazing, especially the part where he gets blown away. Blown away. That's the scene in question. Where he leaves the stage, I guess. At that point, the suspect in the role of the villain is blown away by the heroine's burning love and makes his exit. After being blown away, the suspect disappeared from the stage. Are you saying the crime was committed during that time? Do you know how long he was gone from the stage? Let me think. About 15 minutes or so? It's just as Judge Courtney said. But isn't it dangerous to be blown away by an elephant? It's alright, Aztec is very gentle. That's not who we were worried about here. Sorry. During the first few practices, he was having trouble getting blown away. Then all of a sudden, he was able to be sent flying beautifully. Is that significant? Or, I mean, should I consider this a hint? He might be using some sort of device, but it's amazing. A device, you say? Maybe that's the pulley and the weights. Do you have any ideas about what has happened in this case? It's still a bit vague. I'm afraid I don't know myself yet. I have no idea. Simon handled it all by himself. The scene where Aztec knocks Simon into the air employs some kind of trick. The pulleys, weights, and rope, I'd say. Ah, there we go, okay. Mr. Keys used a device for his stunt. Maybe the tools around the well are connected to this. Kay, I'd like to recheck the tools lying around the well yesterday. Can you change the recreation to the after the show scene? No, this case is pretty well done because it would seem that I'm already on the last part of it, but still I can't say yet what truly happened. Could they have been a part of his device? It seems very likely. I wonder if it's possible to recreate the device. If you ask Mr. Keys, he should be able to tell you how the device was put together. Alright, I'll go ask him. Oh, she's going? Oh, okay. And so what, I just wait for her to come back? Mr. Edgeworth, I asked him about it. And did you find out how the device works? Ah, yeah, because, yeah, obviously it needs some... Otherwise, it need the pulley to be pretty high up to pull him. So, using the weights go down the well, and that way he gets pulled, I guess. Yeah, okay. He used a rope to hang some weights on the well's pulley. The weights were suspended inside the well. Then, he ran the rope through 2 more pulleys and tied the end of the rope to his own body. So he uses the force of the falling weights to send himself flying. But what's to stop the weights from falling on their own? In order to prevent that from happening, he used a stopper. Uh-huh. Miss Berry didn't know anything about the well. That means Mr. Keyes removed the stopper by himself? Correct. That's why a second rope was needed. Uh-huh. This rope was attached to the stopper, and when it was pulled from the stage, the stopper would be removed and the weights would drop down the well. I'm definitely going to steal this idea. The Yatakarasu won't lose to something like this. Don't waste your time. Circus acts require extensive training. Even if you steal the device, it won't do you any good. Then I'll train as well. Before you start training, could you first update the recreation? Oh yeah, you wanted me to recreate the device that was used in the performance. First, let's return to the during the show scene. Exploration of the device. Now we can recreate the device Simon made. So this is the device that Mr. Keyes used. Simon's device, set up for the big stunt during the show, uses 3 pulleys, 2 ropes, the well, and some weights. Simon's sure it's gutsier than he looks, using the falling weights as a force to launch himself during his performance. Indeed, he would have to drop enough weights to exceed his own body weight, but it doesn't look like he weighs much, so I guess maybe 4 weights would be enough? 4 or 5. In order to provide the strength needed to pull him off the stage. Strength to be pulled. In order for the stunt to work, the weights must exceed Simon's weight. Simon must have practiced a lot for this, or something. Crap. Oh, this crate was empty in the recreation earlier. That's right. It was also empty in the picture I took. Ah, I'm sorry, that information is wrong. What do you mean? This crate contained Aztec's food. In the morning on the day of the show, all the apples were gone. I totally forgot about that. I'm sorry. Missing apples, huh? I should make a note of it. Aztec's feed was there the day before the show, was gone the next morning. Great thief's secret weapon. Hey, I see. But isn't this bat using a thief's tool to aid in the investigation? Don't make such a scary face, alright? Uncle Ray's lips are sealed. It's for the truth, right? The evidence may very well already have been destroyed. In order to recreate the crime scene, we need her help. Why so serious? At times like this, a simple smile will suffice. Yes, thank you very much. These chairs are lined up in an orderly fashion. I guess there were a few empty seats during the performance. Yeah, the warden said that there were 3 people who didn't attend the show. And there was the exact number of seats normally if everyone in the prison came to see the show, but 3 people were missing. It reminds me of the karaoke tournament I entered when I was a kid. Karaoke tournament? I was the runner-up. Dark skies of evening, when no other bird dares take wing. One alone remains all-seeing. Now listen to the song of a real modern-day Robin Hood. Don't tell me you actually sang that song. Of course, the song rocks. I'm surprised she actually made it to the finals. Did she steal second place? No, she didn't steal first place. She must have gotten there fair and square, yeah. Ooh. The apples weren't used as weights, were they? Nah, it's the weights. It's probably the weights, I mean. At first I thought, well, maybe this would be too simple. Huh? Isn't this strange? What's wrong, pal? Haven't you noticed, detective? What's strange about the weight is the number, the material, the weight itself. Well, there's only one by the well, yeah. In order to lift Simon's body, more weights are required. In order to pull up Mr. Key's body weight... Yeah, you're right, sir. But where did the rest of the weights disappear to? Looks like it's time to use my 7 secret weapons, sir. If necessary, I'll let the detective know. Well, I'd like to use the metal detector on the well, if possible. Can we? Right from the stunt where he gets blown away by the elephants. How can I call for him to use the metal detector? What, in here? Like this? Gummy, use the metal detector. I wish I could say that. If only to call him Gummy. Detective Gumshoe, it's time for your secret weapon. Yes, sir. I was hoping for the metal detector. I don't get many chances to use this one. So the rod is not gonna get used on the well, I guess. Unless maybe to pull up the weights. Before we begin the search, let me go over how to use the metal detector, sir. The metal detector uses sound. This is new. The way it works. When you get closer to a metal object, the metal detector will have a bigger reaction, like this, when you get the biggest reaction. Give me the order to examine that spot, sir. Oh, so that means I control Gummy? Now, let's see what we've got. It's just a metal fence. And that's basically how you search for metal objects. Just give me the instructions on where you want to search, sir. Hey, yeah, you get to control Gummy. Here, sir. It looks like there's something here. Oh, it's a gold coin, sir. It's a historical discovery. It's hardly possible that something like this could find its way into a prison. Ah, there it is. So that's where it was buried. It's a coin from the bi-weekly coin hunting competition. There's an event like that? That sure sounds like fun, pal. It's an event where the warden buries some coins and the prisoners search for them. There are 3 silver coins and 1 gold coin. Whoever finds them can trade them in for snacks. A coin hunting competition and an annual show. Just what kind of prison is this anyway? Alright, let's continue the search. Yeah, there's a reaction here too, sir. Let's check it out. Huh? I found these in the clumps of grass here, sir. Oh, okay. I didn't expect to find them there, actually. These are the weights used for that hoisting device. Were these intentionally hidden? There's 4 of them in all, sir. Plus the one by the well that would total... well, 75 kilograms. The guy can't weigh much more than that, I guess. Probably weighs less. So the other weights that were used in the device were hidden. Why were they hidden over here, though? See? I'm really earning my keep today, aren't I, sir? Ah, the alligator! That scared me, pal. What's the matter, detective? Looks like the metal detector is reacting to this alligator. Really? Why? Are you sure it isn't still just reacting to the weights? It's a different reaction, sir, and it's definitely coming from the alligator. It swallowed something. Looks like it's scared of us. I don't think so, Kay. If anything, I think Allie looks a little under the weather. Allie? I suppose that was what Warden Rollins called it. She didn't eat any of the food that the warden gave her yesterday. I think she might have eaten something bad. Something metallic. So I guess the metal detector could be reacting to whatever the alligator ate. Oh, maybe she ate one of the weights. I doubt that even an alligator can ingest a 33-pound weight. Yeah, me too. But what could the metal detector be reacting to? And regardless, why were these weights hidden? Maybe we should take another look at the device on the well. Well, she already would. I mean, the female alligator wasn't already feeling well the day before, I think she said. So yeah, I was gonna suggest that maybe the warden gave something to eat to the alligator to get rid of some piece of evidence overnight after she chased us out of the prison, saying it was too late to finish searching the place late last night. So yeah, I guess that's not what happened. Maybe we should take another look at the device on the well. Okay, I'd like you to recreate the after the show scene again. Okay. Doesn't it ever run out of battery, you think? I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Is there maybe something in logic that I still have to connect together? Do these two things go together? Maybe the elephant ate them. Oh, okay. The apples in the crate were probably eaten by Aztec. But it's strange. I remember leaving the crate out of reach from Aztec's nose. Maybe the elephant was used for something else by someone who can tame the elephant and get it to, do some kind of exercise or something. Are you certain? Yes, the crate was still full of apples on the night before the show. Then the cart was moved to where our nose could reach it. With that many apples, it could not have been moved by the wind. Most likely, the crate was moved by a person. Was it in front of a door? Sorry. Hello, I'm interested to see someone actually play this game. I feel like it's quite rare. Hello, Senpai Trash. Well, it's my first time playing it, though. I've played other games in the series before this one, but this one is my first time. This appears to be the correct information. Please update the simulation parameters, K. First, let's return to the during the show scene. Using the info we got from Regina, I'll recreate the scene with the cart in its actual place. Recreation complete. Loving it, yeah. Yeah, Senpai is his name. If not banned, can we at least... Yeah, no, Jeff is kidding, of course, he's kidding. Yeah, welcome. Everyone's welcome. Well, I already liked the first one. I like this one just as much so far. I mean, the first Miles Edgeworth Investigations game. Wait, hold on. I'm not done on this side of things. Got scared for a second. Nothing to be scared of. The door is locked. Want me to pick the lock? Success is not guaranteed, though. No, if need be, I'll just borrow a key. Sheesh. I thought it was finally a chance for me to steal the spotlight. Don't even think about stealing anything in my presence. Not even the spotlight. It's the cage of the Asian elephant Aztec. The elephant is performing on stage right now, so the cage is empty. I wonder how Aztec entered the courtyard. What do you mean, how? The entrance here is human-sized, and this fence is electrified. I don't think an elephant would enter from there. They could just turn off the electricity. If they did that, all the inmates would escape. I doubt anyone would escape while an elephant was entering. I wonder how she came in. This requires some thought. She seems to be enjoying her little brain teaser. I should just let her be. Well, I was under the impression that the cart was moved because it was in front of the door. No wonder I thought it smelled like animals. It contained the elephant's food. So this was filled with Aztec's apples. That's right. On the day before the show, it was full of apples. And in the morning, they were all gone. Oh, did you think of something? You could say that. Yeah, before she changed that, it seems like I was meant to deduce something from the well, but I didn't really... Your username is quite old. I kinda wish I could change it. Well, I kinda wish I could change the spelling of mine, but it is what it is, and now, well, I just have to live with it. But if there's an error with the info, the recreation could come out a bit strange, alright? If you find anything strange, please present some evidence. I'm still not used to the new feature of the little thief. Using the latest feature, we can recreate the same spot at different times. By the way, we can currently recreate the during the show from the 2 days ago and the after the show from yesterday. Yeah, right. It reminds me of Batman Arkham City and Arkham Origins, which I streamed respectively a few months ago and then last year. Because you can investigate a scene and then replay the scene as it was before too. Yeah, is it the same rope or not? Because I already hypothesized that these two were related before, but I wonder if this piece of evidence shows a contradiction with the crime scene. Nope, I guess it doesn't. Could you be more precise about the contradiction is? I'd also like to hear you explain it in more detail, sir. Around here somewhere. Okay, no, that was not it. There's something about the well. It's something about the well, but this device, it could be just me, but it feels like something is missing. Then is it this? Simon's device, set up for the big stunt during the show, uses 3 pulleys, 2 ropes. Ah, 1 rope is missing. Is that it then? Deduce from the rope and the fact that there is only 1 rope? Is that it? I guess you could say something about the well doesn't sit well with you. Thank you, Jeff, for that one. This recreation and the device we saw earlier, there is a major discrepancy. One of the ropes is missing. You're right. Without it, the device won't work. I wonder what happened to it. Where did the missing rope disappear to? It's on the body. If not banned, could we at least time out, Jeff? You know I won't. Which piece of evidence shows where the missing rope went? This one? The rope we found with the dead body. Could it be? Yes, it could be the other piece of rope that was used here. Then does that mean this rope was attached to the weight? Yeah, but that... Well, Edgy Boy is on to something. Well, this... What was I going to say? What was I going to say now? I can't remember. Anyway, however, the weight was not one of these metal weights. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not good for my client, if anything. That the rope found around the body of the victim is connected to a stunt. It connects my client to the body of the victim. That's not good. These weights were hidden in the grass and replaced with something else. If they were replaced, then what was used as the weights? What was tied to the rope we found in the workroom? The apples? If you can recall that. Or the body. The body. If you can recall that, then the answer should be clear. The weight that was dropped in place of the weights that Mr. Keys had prepared was... the body?
Take that!
What dropped down the well was none other than Knightley's dead body. Eh? Mr. Knightley's body was used as the weight? Well, he does seem taller, I guess, and more muscular looking, so, he was a bodyguard after all. Yes, the weights were replaced with Knightley's body. Mr. Keys used the device to launch himself off the stage. I wonder if he knew, though. I wonder if he knew that the body was attached. I'm still pretty sure my client is innocent, so... these cases get dark. When the rope that was tied to him was undone and let go, both the body and the rope dropped down the well. The rope wasn't used to tie up Knightley. It was used to suspend him inside the well. That also explains why the other weights were hidden. So that no one would find out that the weights were replaced with the body. Well, yeah, this is why I think that those weights were replaced and hidden, because that was not Mr. Keys, Simon Keys' doing. Someone else did. Someone who knew about the trick, probably. But who could that be? The killer was the one who hid those weights. A thing I always find weird about the Ace Attorney series is how light death is taken. I guess they're so used to it that to them it's nothing. I don't know. Wasn't Knightley Boy stabbed in the neck with the murder weapon? If he was suspended in the well, wouldn't there be blood at the bottom of the well? The killer was also aware of that. That's why they used this item. Which item did the killer use in order to leave no traces of blood behind? The sheet.
Take that!
Like Edgeworth with Ray, Gummy and Kay walk in on a dead body, and Kay is like, "Oh, so cool, exciting," and crack jokes around it. Yeah. Well, I guess they already knew that they didn't just walk in on it. They already knew that the body was going to be there, but still to crack jokes around it. Yeah, I guess you're right on that one. It was used to wrap up the body. I see. It looks like all the pieces are starting to come together, eh? But this means that the body definitely came from the well. If that's the case, wouldn't that mean Simon is the killer? Yeah, so far everything we've managed to prove is not good for our client at all. No, that's not necessarily the case. Yeah, but that still makes him look very suspicious. If Mr. Keys was the killer, would he have needed to set up such an elaborate device? And that's why Simon is not the killer. Mr. Keys was only responsible for dropping the body during the show. In other words, it doesn't matter where the real killer was or what they were doing during the show. Until now, this placed doubt on the people who did not watch the animal show. From a game perspective, Simon is not the killer. They wouldn't make the killer be Simon. Well, yeah. Yeah, from a game perspective. Although, there was at least one instance before in the Ace Attorney series where the client is actually guilty. Only the one. And actually, wasn't that the case? Wasn't that with the circus? Actually, I can't remember now. The guy with the scar on his face. I wonder if it was with the very big circus thing in Ace Attorney Justice for All. Whip Lady was her attorney. There is also a lot of bullshit things that happen where you think that would literally be a 1 in a million chance of happening, but that's one of the things I like about the games. Whip Lady was his attorney. It's true, we also suspected Mr. Dogen. The killer's true intent was to make us think that the murder occurred during the show. In other words, they used a device on the well to create a fake alibi. Miss Berry, do you know when this device on the well was set up? Ms. Von Karma. Never mind, thought you were referring to the share-wheeled guy case. Actually, yeah. Yeah, that's the one I was referring to, but you're right. Yeah, so it was not the one with the circus. No, okay. Yeah, so that was not it then. Whip Lady. You prefer to call her Whip Lady. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the culprit in that one was the chair-wheeled guy. Yeah. Can't remember his name now, but we all started preparing at 9 p.m. We finished at around midnight. The killer replaced the weights with the dead body afterwards. The device was set up with the body on the night before the show, unbeknownst to my client. Simon used this for the big stunt during the show. Someone switched the weights with the body. No, what was that case where the culprit is a guy with a big scar on his face hidden by his hair? I can't quite recall which one it was now. But anyway, did Dogen know about the device? No, even if he knew about the device, it wouldn't be possible for him to use it. You can't teach a dog to suspend the body in a well. Do you have someone who you think is a culprit? I'm still not sure, really. It feels like I'm not too far off from the end of this case, but I'm still not quite sure who that could be. I mean, they all seem to point to Dogen being the killer, but he seems like the most likely culprit, but I still can't explain how he would have done it, though. No. Or unless both things have in common the night before the show, so could it be? Ah, yeah, it is connected, okay. It's money, I'm telling you all. Money the monkey. This cart was moved the night before the show. The body was also switched the night before the show. I don't think it was just a coincidence. Yeah, me neither. Keeping that in mind, the question now becomes, why was the cart moved? The cart used to be in front of that door. I can't think of one reason why. Somebody opened that door. Yeah, the cart could have been used by someone to carry the body. The door is locked. I know who you're talking about with the guy with the scar, but I don't remember the name. I don't remember the name either. I just remember it was either in the second or third Ace Attorney game. And I remember that it was the case with Shelly the Killer, actually, who is in this game too. The assassin. It's the case where he has his watch that he talks into. He has that gadget. Yeah, it was the case with the two heroes of two TV shows, and in that one, Maya gets abducted by Shelly the Killer. Matt on guard, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's the one. Yes, yeah. In that one, you actually worked to get your client found guilty, despite the fact that you're the defense attorney. So in that sense, that one was it was a nice one. That one. Yeah, but I think you might be right. I think that might be the right name. How is the final boss in the first Ace Attorney game again? The final boss? Well, Von Karma, I guess. Manfred Von Karma, the father of Franziska. Let's ask a guard. Hey, Mr. Guard. Yes, what is it? That was fast. You there, where's the key to this door? The warden's in charge of it. I'll get it from her right away. Right away, okay. The warden is in charge of the keys here. Without the warden's permission, this door can't be opened. Yeah, it's the Von Karma daddy, yeah. He was in the first Ace Attorney Investigations game too, actually, in a flashback scene where, or was he? Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, and there was a case that took place in the courthouse or something like that. Yeah, and Von Karma was in that one. He looks 30 at most, you think? No, he's actually quite older than that. Well, Franziska is pretty young herself, I guess. No, Manfred, I think he was about 50 years old, I think, or something like that. Never heard anyone call him daddy before. It's such a weird feeling. Well, he doesn't look like a daddy, but I guess Franziska does. Doesn't she call him daddy in some scenes? Maybe? I'm not quite sure now. It's a circuit breaker panel. This must be the breaker room. On the night before the show, somebody came into this room. I wonder why they would come here. Well, wasn't there a power outage that caused the camera to stop recording, or the timestamp on the surveillance camera in the detention center to be offset? Hey, Rudy. Well, hey, Quilix. Hey, Quilix, how's it going? He doesn't look like a daddy, but I guess Franziska does call him daddy, is what I meant. I don't think anyone would confuse the breaker room with the break room. It was definitely to operate the circuit breakers. Franziska is daddy now. I'm a little bit tired, but good otherwise. So someone came here to shut off the power to something. Was there anything that had its power shut off? Come on! Do you need me to spell it out for ya?
Take that!
The security camera footage had a 3-hour gap. Ah, I see. The circuit breaker for the security camera was stripped. Yeah, I say everything backwards tonight. Like I said, a bit tired. It's highly possible. Was this the killer's handiwork? With the camera down, it'd be easier to move about. The killer would have a major advantage. Thanks for the response in Discord. I am a little further than that, actually. Like, I got Frog into my party permanently. Ah, okay. Oh, yeah, you're way further then. Yeah. Because Frog leaves at some point, yeah. For a portion of the game, he's not there anymore, indeed. I prefer Jeffa. With the camera down, yeah. I knew it. If that's the case, the killer was the person who tripped the breaker. The person in charge of the key to the breaker room is... It couldn't be. Found in the breaker room at the prison courtyard. Was it used on the night before the body was found? Nice to meet you, Jeffa. Deactivating the recreation. Investigation complete. Oh no, not them again. I'm first to the scene as always. Good morning, Mr. The Best. What? You? How did you get here before me? I got up early. Greetings, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I see you have arrived early. Or maybe it is you who are late, Judge Courtney. I have many matters which require my attention. I have no time to waste. Unlike a certain prosecutor who has taken off the case. Oh, my apologies. I had forgotten that you were assisting the defense attorney. This duo is like an annoying neighbor and her dog. An assistant can never be the best. You've fallen like the rest. You just say whatever you like, don't you? Let us begin our examination of the courtyard, Sebastian. Alright, I'll call the man over. Hold it! We've already done that. That will be unnecessary. We have already finished the investigation of the courtyard. You've been bested. Bested? Me? Uh, I like how his little bit of hair at the top of his head is like a question mark. Actually, now that Sebastian has shown up, I'm curious. Most people hate him. How does everyone else feel about him? He's annoying. That's how I feel about him. He's pretty annoying. Judge Courtney, your reasoning from yesterday. I mean, he's annoying. He's stupid. I mean, he doesn't make himself likable. Like, I mean, some of your opponents in the other games, well, sometimes, well, they may look cool or something like that. They might have something likable about them. But there's nothing really likable about this guy, I guess. I mean, he's a big mouth. That's what he is for the most part. Watch me shatter it to pieces. I would advise you to choose your words more carefully. Have you forgotten that the fate of your badge rests in my hands? He's like a puppy. I have had enough of such coercion. Can't you think of some other way to threaten me that does not involve my badge? Overruled! I don't like how she abuses her power as judge and as part of that committee of prosecutors thing. I'm not super fond of her character either. Although she doesn't pose such a big resistance, I guess. When I can make a good argument, she accepts it. Despite my repeated warnings, you show no signs of reflection. It seems I must remind you once more. The Prosecutorial Investigation Committee, yeah, that's the word, the name I was looking for. Can't leave someone such as yourself unchecked. Neither the fate of my badge nor the action of the committee will impede my progress. Proving Mr. Keys' innocence, that is all that concerns me. Your words are like those of a defense attorney. If you are willing to go that far, then I will show no leniency. In the name of the goddess of law, I shall turn your words against you. And at that moment, you will forfeit the title of prosecutor. You shall regret this. Judge Courtney's reasoning. I shared my reasoning with you the day before. Since Mr. Elbert did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel, it could only have been dropped down the well during the show. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. Naturally, you have evidence to support your reasoning. Of course she does. Who do you think she is? Earlier, I received the official autopsy report. Babysitting that kid must be difficult. Courtney is an interesting character. Still on the fence about how I feel about her. Well, me, I only know what the game has shown about her so far, having not played the game in full before. So, well, not played the game at all before doing it for the sake of the stream is what I should say, actually. So, I don't know all there is to know about her yet, but I don't know. She's a bit suspicious, I think. The way that she goes about trying to prevent Edgeworth from being on the case and stuff like that. She's a bit suspicious. But anyway, the time of death was the night before the body was discovered. In other words, the day before the show, the cause of death remains unchanged. A stab wound 4 inches deep. On March 27, died instantly from a stab on the neck. Simon Keys was not present on stage for a period of 15 minutes. There was sufficient time for him to drop the body down the well. She has not investigated the courtyard yet. That means, it seems there is a hole in your argument. You seem quite confident. Can you present evidence to support your claim? Of course I can, and I will. Well, I hope. Well, she doesn't know about the device, so it's probably something to do with that. I shared my reasoning with you the day before. Since Mr. Elbert did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel, it could only have been dropped down the well during the show. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. Well, not dropped, but lowered, I guess. And someone switched the weights with the body because we found the weights hidden. Unfortunately for you, Judge Courtney, your argument doesn't hold any water, just like the well. Just like the well. Well, true enough, yeah, it's dried up. There was a device set up around the well here. What is this device of which you speak? Are you aware of the stunt in which Mr. Keys is blown away by the elephant during the show? So it's also interesting to think about how there is apparently only few judges in the games world. We have the original judge, the judge's younger brother, and Courtney. There is probably more, but I don't remember them. As far as I can remember, at this point, by the time that game was released, it was just these three anyway. I have not played those on the 3DS, or Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright versus Ace Attorney versus Layton, or something like that. The spin-off, like crossover kind of thing. Original Judge Akao Ramu on vacation. It's true that he does resemble a bit Ramu, at least in his yeah, all his Final Fantasy appearances, I guess. Yeah, it's the only three judges that I can think of anyway, having only played all the games before this one and now that one. Well, I guess there might be some other judges in those Japanese only Dai Gyakuten Saiban, whatever the title is, Great Ace Attorney or something like that. He tied one end of a length of rope to himself and the other end to a set of weights. He was able to perform the stunt by dropping these weights down the well. Wouldn't he have spent the whole place suspended up in the air? That's why he had a stopper attached to the weighted hand. The stopper was removed by pulling another rope. Around the well, we found evidence that the weights were switched with the victim's body. This was done by the real killer in order to shift suspicion away from them. Judging from the time of death, the murder was carried out in the early morning of the show. The true criminal had until the time of the show started to set up the device. Objection! Even his voice is kind of annoying. Since he was also the one who used it, he is the best suspect. Don't you agree?
Objection!
If Mr. Keys were the murderer, he would not have needed to do that. Miss Berry? Yes? Was there anyone else who knew of the device he set up? Well, let me see. Since we had to get everything about our show approved by the people here at the prison, I'd say there were others who knew about it. And there you have it. Overruled! I see you have indeed performed a thorough investigation, which is why I am even further perplexed. Why do you not use your efforts for justice? My actions are not just? Who made that decision? You cannot understand even that, even now, providing support to a defense attorney despite being a prosecutor. It is quite unnatural. This goes against the rules. I am merely choosing to do what I think is right at this particular time. I travel down the road I have chosen. Your comprehension does not matter in the least. You've played most of the games, though not the latent spin-off, but even though you know there will be new judges in the later games, you're thinking of so far. If you've played everything in order, I have played everything in order, yeah. The 3 Phoenix Wright games, I had played the first one on the DS because I have that one, but then I only played the second and third games on the Switch when the trilogy was released, which I bought physically from Japan. Then I played Apollo Justice, then I played the first Miles Edgeworth Investigations, and then this one. So this is the sixth game in the series I've played so far. And in the order of their release. I travel down the road I have chosen. Your comprehension does not matter in the least. However, if anyone intends to interfere, I will show no mercy. Perhaps this is a calling from the goddess of law. If you intend to rebel against her divine will, I will have no choice but to hand down my verdict. What's with these people and collapsible objects anyway? The other guy, it seems to be like, how should I call that? I don't even know how to call that kind of stick that he uses. A rod, I don't know. And it's her hammer that's collapsible. Pay heed to my words. I have one more reason to suspect Simon Keys of murder. There you go. Okay, go ahead then. If the body came from the courtyard, how was Mr. Knightley brought here from the detention center? Only Simon Keyes could have provided such an opportunity. Because of this fact, I find it most difficult to suspect any other party of this crime. While Simon Keyes was moving supplies for the show, he visited Mr. Knightley's cell. Does that not strike you as odd? Simon Keyes was the revelation of the stream yesterday. I didn't notice that. Yeah, Simon Keyes. And I have played it 2 times already. Oh, you've already played it twice. Why else would he have brought a large covered cage with him? Oh, that does seem pretty suspicious. Mr. Keyes was merely that kind of person. It is entirely possible that he carelessly brought it there. If that is possible, then it is also possible that he was assisting in the escape. Am I wrong? I suppose I must refute our theory with evidence. If the body came from the courtyard, how was Mr. Knightley brought here from the detention center? Only Simon Keyes could have provided such an opportunity. What about Elbert? Because he was in the cell, wasn't he? There are still things that get to me too. I have played and watched people play it many times. I'm not sure. I'll press first, because I don't want to make a mistake. Are you certain that he was the only person who had the opportunity? Have you forgotten? This is a prison. Due to the constant supervision, it would be impossible to do anything unusual. Well, there's the tunnel. Wouldn't it be the same for Mr. Keyes? The warden has shown favor to the Berry Big Circus. Simon Keyes is a circus member, Miss Berry's apprentice, no less. It could only have been him. He was able to move about freely within the facility. Yeah, but no, because the other guy too. Seems that you forgot to mention that. The word forget does not exist in my dictionary, then it would be prudent for you to add this to your argument. Mr. Keyes may have been the only person who could have moved around freely in the prison. But on the day of the murder, there was a gap in time missing from the surveillance records. During that time, anyone could have done as they pleased. Do I have proof of this gap in the surveillance records? Well, this... There, yeah, okay.
Take that!
Mr. Keyes wasn't the only one who had the opportunity. Who else could have had the opportunity? The timestamp on the security camera is off by 3 hours. This means there was a 3-hour gap in time. During that time, anyone could have done it. If that were the case, then the murderer would have created the gap in time intentionally. It would not have been a simple camera failure. Are you saying that is possible? It's possible if you had access to this. Circuit breaker. In this courtyard we found the circuit breaker for the security camera, and it was possible to access the breaker room both before and after the murder. Unfortunately, it appears that you have fallen short of your intentions. Mr. Edgeworth hasn't fallen short of anything. So can you explain how the murderer obtained the key to the breaker room? Maybe they were the only person who had access to it. Could have been the warden, although, I don't know. Maybe she only seems to be a kind person. Maybe she actually isn't at all. I don't know. Did she have any motive anyway? What would her motive be? The warden hangs on to the key, right? The breaker room has great importance even in a prison. There is no one who would be able to obtain the key so easily.
Objection!
Maybe nobody needed to obtain it. Didn't she say... but she brought Dogen to her office, didn't she, at some point, to interrogate him about something? He could have stolen the key at that time, or the dog could have, if the dog is trained to do it. I think it was mentioned at one point that he left his cell to go to her office or something. you say? This person, the murderer, was able to get the key. They didn't even need to steal it. There can't be anyone like that. Besides, the breaker to the electrified fence is in that room too. Only one person could have done this. I didn't want to believe it myself, but I trust that my logic is sound. The person who used the key to enter the breaker room is... hold on. Well, her.
Take that!
The murderer is... It was Kay. Warden Roland? Oh my, what an energetic little puppy. That's because this dog is extremely fond of sweets. It seems to detect a sweet scent on you. Oh, heavens no, I'm not even wearing perfume or anything of the sort. What the dog detects is a sweet scent of death. How poetic. However, does that not imply that I committed a murder? What kind of animal does she have around her neck anyway? What's that supposed to be? That's what I think. It's cute. What? The warden is the murderer? Mr. Edgeworth, are you serious about your statement? Oh, how amusing. The very thought of a warden committing a murder. It sounds like something out of a mystery novel. Precisely, your reasoning is in contempt.
Hold it!
Nothing of the sort. I did not want to believe it myself, but... based on the evidence, I have no choice but to believe it. This evidence proves that Warden Roland is the murderer. Well, the circuit breaker, again. Right? Or not? Ah, the fact that the body has a sweet scent, maybe.
Take that!
The smell gave you away. As you can plainly see, someone has taken notice. This police dog. He tracked the sweet smell that came from the body, and right now he is telling us that the same scent is also on Warden Roland. You're a cruel one to accuse me of murder based on something like that. Right, Justine, darling? It appears that Judge Courtney has reached the same conclusion as I have. Mr. Edgeworth, this couldn't have been just a coincidence, could it? Coincidence. The key to the breaker room and the same scent on the body. If it were only one, it could have been seen as such. It appears we have reached a conclusion. We should now listen to what the warden has to say. Well, see? Most of the time she seems to be steering me away from the truth, but in circumstances like that, she seems reluctant to do it, but she still accepts the truth for what it is. So I don't know what to think of her, really. Until we do, we cannot close this case. Oh my goodness, everyone with such scary faces, so I'm the only one who could have been the murderer. That just cannot be. Why I can't be the killer. I heard all about the case from Justine Darling here. Had I committed the murder, it would have taken place inside the holding cell. But I couldn't have moved the body. I never went into the prison. I was caught up in my work up until the show. I was stuck in my office. Check up on it if you like. You'll find there is no record of me entering the prison. But, according to the plan, you don't need to go through the passageway, through those doors with detectors or something, because the warden's office is accessible from the detention center without having to go through the passageway. Right? Isn't that right? In fact, you have to go through the warden's office to get to the courtyard. So... yeah, there you have it on the lower screen. And I already don't. In fact, I noticed that at the moment I got the map. I noticed that much. I cannot be the killer, but Missile barked at you, pal. You've got to be the culprit. Oh heavens, it's not possible. I already told you I never went to the prison. If you think I'm lying, why don't you check the records? She wants us to check the records. She does seem confident. For now, all we can do is listen to her and try to draw out more information. Well, actually, if you look at the map again... Okay, I guess where the warden's office is not exactly the prison. Yeah, I guess it's not really considered to be part of the prison as such. But she didn't need to go to the prison to move the body there. I mean, she only needed to go from the detention center through our office to the courtyard and then arrange for the body to be dropped into the well, and then the dog, Dogen's dog, could Anubis could like get the body from down the well and through the cell of what's his name again, J. Elbird, and then bring it to the workroom A? Yeah, workroom A. I do hope you understand, Mr. Edgeworth. I heard all about the case from Justine Darling here. Had I committed the murder, it would have taken the place inside the holding cell, yeah, but I couldn't have moved the body. I never went into the prison. I was caught up in my work up until the show. I was stuck in my office. You'll find there's no record of me entering the prison. Well, there's no need for you to enter the prison, I would say. The music is hype. Yeah, that's true. This whole series has good music anyway, overall. Well, maybe because I've played that one more than the others, I still think that the music from the very first game is a bit more iconic, maybe more memorable. You did not enter the prison from the entrance, but what if there was another route? Oh my, are you suggesting something like a secret passage? Not so secret, no, it doesn't have to be secret. I don't know if anything like that exists. It is my firm belief you did possess an alternate route. That route was neither an entrance nor a secret passage. Well, the warden's office, isn't it? Or the courtyard, I guess. I mean, it connects the two. Our office and the prison. No, not the barbed wire fence. You would have moved nightly to your office first. This office leads directly to the garden side of the courtyard. If you have moved through here and past the barbed wire fence, you would have arrived at the prison without passing through the entrance or a tunnel. I wonder what Mr. Edgeworth is saying. Haven't you noticed there's a high voltage current running through the fence? For 3 hours, the current was off. Yeah, obviously she couldn't have passed through it like that. The current to the fence could be switched off at the breaker room, and you were the only one who had the key, Warden Roland. Most amusing, however, the breaker room is located on the prison side of the courtyard. How would the warden have accessed it from the detention center? Or maybe she did give Dogen the key, or maybe the dog used the key, I don't know. I'm grasping a bit right there. Right. Gotcha there, Mr. Edgeworth. That's... If there is no record of her passing through the prison entrance, it would not have been possible for her to turn off the fence's breaker. Unless she did use the tunnel herself, maybe. I mean, she could have. The tunnel leads to the prison, so... Yeah, but then Jailbird would know about it, because he would have seen her come through her cell, obviously. She could have did something to silence him or something like that, but nah, it doesn't seem likely. It's a bit too far-fetched, probably. Don't let this phase you, Miles, but if I don't have a solution for this, she'll get away. Now, Uncle Ray never said don't think, you know? It's just not good to be so stubborn about it, that's all. No matter how you think about it, Warden Roland couldn't have done this alone. Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you have failed to come up with a... Yeah, right. I am not amused, interrupting my judgments only to be silent. Without thinking, I just blurted out objection. I have to answer. I won't let this hand here. Yup. My reasoning is not over yet. So how did she use the breaker without leaving the detention center? It's perfectly possible with this method. Her position as the warden, the timing, an accomplice. Well, I did mention an accomplice before, and that seems to be the most logical solution. It was indeed impossible for one person, but what if there were two? Exactly, just what I expected from you, Miles. Yes, you had an accomplice on the prison side. Overruled. Enough, I am disappointed in you, Prosecutor Edgeworth. What's that, pal? You making fun of Mr. Edgeworth? The inmates at this prison all wear bracelets. If they try and go where they please, they will set off the alarm. Ah. So you've noticed. This is a prison after all. Yeah, but the animals don't. What if it's one of the animals? What about the dog then? Like I said, surprisingly, that sounded too far-fetched, but now that she mentions it, that doesn't leave too many other options. Not only the prisoners, but the guards too are under constant scrutiny. So why didn't anyone notice Elbird? The only ones allowed to move around freely are the animals. And they certainly could not have used the breaker. But it's still possible that a person did. Excluding the inmates and the guards, just what kind of person would you say it was? Frank Sowit. His bracelet was not functioning at that time. Could it be? Almost nothing is too far-fetched in these games. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're not wrong there. We can't exclude the inmates and guards just yet. There was only one person, one whose movement was not restricted. His bracelet. That is, it looks like the bracelet worn by the prisoners. This belongs to a certain model inmate, and it's broken. What? Just who on earth does this belong to? Frank Sowit, the warden's favorite inmate. It's true that she did mention that he was her favorite, so... Don't you think it's strange? He managed to keep his hidden while he moved around freely in his daily prison life. Golly, when you think about it, it shouldn't be possible. I'd hazard a guess that this was because he was a special case. Just like Saran Dogan in the special cell. The prosecutor's statement is the mere conjecture. I'm not a, he's not a prosecutor right now. You could find out by simply asking Sowit himself. It is my firm belief that Mr. Sowit and Warden Roland were partners in crime. Due to their collaboration, another route surfaces. The real route by which Knightley's body was moved to the prison. There were two obstacles that needed to be dealt with. The security camera in front of Knightley's cell, and the electric fence in the courtyard. Both these problems could have been solved with a single stroke, by having Sowit switch off the breakers in the break room. Yeah, but what would be our motive? I don't understand that. Mr. Edgeworth, could you wait one moment? Do you still intend to deny it, Warden Roland? I give in. I confess. Warden Roland! No, this cannot be! Yes, just as he says. Frank saw it and I were partners in crime. No way! You did it, Mr. Edgeworth! Well done, Miles. At last, we have the real culprit cornered. Like Mr. Edgeworth said, Frankie operated the breaker, but we were not responsible for Knightley's murder. What? Warden Roland, whatever do you mean? That motives are overrated. They don't need one. The goddess of law is merciful. She will absolve you. I was being threatened. That's why I had no choice but to do as I was told. By Dogen, maybe? Who was threatening you? Saran Dogen. That assassin. It's been going on since that man came to the prison. I will never forget that day. When we were both alone, he suddenly said to me, I have many dogs outside the prison. Dogs? Loyal dogs who obey my every command. I soon realized that what Dogen referred to were not really dogs, but his human henchmen. And that's not all he said. Never get tired of the animation of the character. Such tiny details can do so much. It's pretty low res, but yeah, they convey a lot of things. When you think about it, because I played through the HD remakes of the first 3 games, the high definition graphics don't do much really to these games. But I mean, they were designed to take advantage of pixel art to begin with. So I guess unless you were to completely overhaul the presentation to make it look completely different, the original would still hold up.
Holy shit!
Thank you for gifting us up to Senpai Trash, Quelix. So kind indeed. You'd better watch how you treat me if you don't want you and your family to become dog food. I had no choice. I gave him the special cell. I gave him anything he desired. Anything he desired? You don't mean the supplier? That's right. Anything he ordered, I would deliver to him. An underground dealership. I was the one who won over Frankie. It was simple. I just offered him special privileges within the prison. And these underground dealings. Once a week in the middle of the night. Yeah, thanks, Quillix. Once a week in the middle of the night, Frankie would shut off 2 of the breakers. So I could move from my office to the courtyard without being seen by the security camera. Ah, so it was something that happened regularly then. I would go past the fence and drop the goods down the well near the prison. And then I'd sprinkle this perfume over it. So that's the true identity of the sweet scent. The scent of perfume was a signal for Dogen's dog. After picking up the scent, it would carry the goods to Dogen. Of course, this had to be done while Elbert was away from his cell. I'm surprised he never found out about it, pal. We have a strict timetable here at the prison. Meal time, exercise time. It's easy to know when he's away from his cell. And since little Rocky is afraid of Dogen's dog, I didn't have to worry about him making noise. So having full knowledge of the prison's inner workings, she made the deliveries herself. This would have ensured there were no slip-ups. Frankie would turn the breakers back on in the early morning and the delivery was complete. I then modified the timestamp on the security camera, but this time I guess she forgot. You have told us a great deal. The goddess of law accepts your penitent confession. As the warden of the prison, how could I have done such a foolish thing? The day Knightley was killed was also a delivery day. It seems Frankie was working the breakers as usual. Thank you for the follow, Senpai Thrash. But that day I had nothing to send, so I did not go to the courtyard at all. The secret of the supply system. So then Warden Roland was. The police have been searching for Dogen's henchmen for ages. I've also been helping them, but... I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but... No matter how much evidence we have on him, we can't get a single word out of him. So the reason you kept on interrogating him... Yes, it was to find his henchmen. I borrowed all the evidence from the police and carried out the interrogation myself. I came to die on all his actions and examined all of his mail. Mail, like his correspondence, chess letters. But I could never uncover the true identity of his henchmen. The sphere, it's something you could never understand. Prosecutor Edgeworth, you were listening, right? I'd say this confession clears the warden of all suspicion. Is it really necessary to press her further than this? Is it necessary? I'd say it is. I can't let her get away with this. Judge Courtney, my questioning isn't over yet. I'm sure the goddess of law isn't satisfied yet either. You mean to badger this woman further? Even if she was threatened by Dogen. This does not prove she was not the culprit in this case. She was able to use the supply route to transport Knightley's body. Do you have any evidence to support this? The body gave off a sweet scent. The scent of perfume that was used to signify a delivery. Can you explain this fact? Oh, of course. Since I have made so many deliveries, the scent would have lingered around the well. When the body was moved through the well, the scent would have transferred to it. Mr. Elbert also testified to this fact. That's it for some reason. That well gave off a nice scent. A nice scent? I don't know what it was, but it smelled sweet, like candy. Mmm. The defense rests, I see. In that case, court is adjourned. Hey, we're not in court. Mr. Edgeworth, isn't there anything we can do? What should I do? Is this as far as I can go? Is it over already? Yes, Sebastian, it is. And now court is officially adjourned. Hold it! Who was that? It's not nice of you to adjourn things just like that, Courtney Pie. Mr. Shields, are you objecting to the court adjourning? Uncle Ray! Of course not, I ain't got no objection or anything like that. Go ahead and adjourn court, do whatever you like. Hey, what are you doing, Mr. Shields? Whatever, calm down, Kay. Who wants some chocolate? Is this a joke? Hehehe. You'll have to excuse me, I just have one tiny request to make. As Simon Key's attorney. That's right, you're the defense attorney in charge of this case, aren't you? Exactly, did you all forget? That's so mean. But you just left everything to Mr. Edgeworth and didn't do anything at all. Yes, that's right, that's why. I thought I'd do my job a bit. Yeah, about time. Do your job, that hardly sounds like you at all. It's to prepare for the trial. I'd like to ask the warden a few questions. Surely a jest. What more would you expect to hear from her? Well, Miss Warden, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the culprit. My thoughts? Uncle Ray believes that Simon is not the culprit. It seems that Miss Warden also suspects someone other than Simon. I'd like to hear you out. Mr. Edgeworth, what's Mr. Shields up to? He's trying to lure Mr. Warden Roland into testifying. What was the supply route used to transport the body? I'd say it was to pin the crime on Dogen. Ah, I see. If he committed a murder here, it would be transferred to another prison. One with tighter security. Oh! She could have orchestrated it just to frame Dogen so that he would be moved away? Then she would have motive then. Ray is one of your favorite characters, going from the goofy uncle to serious daddy. And that would get rid of the troublemaker. Exactly. She wouldn't pass up a chance like that. Hey, hold on a sec. A culprit besides Simon? What do you mean? Simon was the one I was supposed to prosecute. I would love an Ace Attorney Raymond Shields edition. Exactly. So wouldn't it be better if the best also listened to what she has to say? Amazing, Mr. Shields. You managed to drag Mr. the Best into this too. Warden Roland, is this acceptable? Oh, it's fine, it's fine. You understand a woman's heart. Thank you, mademoiselle. Also, his theme is great. It is the best. Actually, I've thought this over. I'd like to tell you my thoughts. You'll let me speak, won't you, Justine darling? Of course, you may speak. Mr. Shields, awesome. Phew, that was a close shave. Thank you, Mr. Shields. No, no, I'm still leaving the rest to you. Remember what I said. A defense attorney never gives up. The fate of our client rests on our shoulders, after all. It'd be uncool if Uncle Ray didn't put that into practice. Now then, Miles, it's your turn to show you'll never give up. Right. Well then, will you listen to my story? I believe that the culprit in this case could only have been Dogen. I have no idea what transpired between Dogen and the victim. It simply could have been that Dogen was displeased with him. In any case, he was the one who stabbed the victim to death. He probably had a dog dispose of the body. This is the truth of the case. The victim, Mr. Knightley, was it? I think it is a truly terrible thing. Taking a man's life, you mean? That's how you'd go about saying it, isn't it? If only I had been more vigilant, this death would not have happened. That's why I want to clear up his regrets. Warden Roland, how considerate. I'm sure Mr. Knightley in heaven is overflowing with gratitude. Is gratitude really what Knightley feels? I wonder. I believe that the culprit in this case could only have been Dogen. I have no idea what transpired between Dogen and the victim. What's that? Pepe Jam. It simply could have been that Dogen was displeased with him. In any case, he was the one who stabbed the victim to death. How can you know that? I'd like to hear your thoughts about the circumstances surrounding the murder. Well, I suppose it was a simple job. During his booking, I learned that the victim had some kind of injury to his neck. He couldn't turn his neck to the right. I remember him saying something like that. Booking. That's the process one undergoes before being locked up in the detention center. It sounds like you don't really know a lot about Knightley. I only know a little. In any case, he would have been an easy target for Dogen. Perhaps he used the chisel hidden in the chessboard. The victim wouldn't even have had a chance to scream. I see. Your opinion will be a very valuable reference. Could you add those last statements to your testimony? Oh, you're making me blush. You're so cute. I'm just kidding. I'll continue. Perhaps he used the chisel hidden in the chessboard. I'm sure it would have been a simple job. But I thought we had established that Knightley hid a chisel inside the chessboard, isn't it? Since the evidence says so.
Objection!
Warden Roland, you certainly are sharp-witted. Hey, enough with the titles. Call me Patty. However, there's something you were a little too knowledgeable about. Embarrassed? You're such an inexperienced child, Edgeworth, dear. Yeah. Fight on, Mr. Edgeworth. You said you didn't really know much about Knightley. If that's the case, how did you know about the chisel inside the chessboard? Oh, okay, so that's what... actually, yeah, she wasn't supposed to know about it. I thought it was the discrepancy between she saying that Dogen put it there and the evidence saying that Knightley did so.
Objection!
Enough with the poor excuses. The entrance check. The chessboard wasn't something Knightley brought with him. It was brought to him later by Mr. Keyes. It didn't even have it when he arrived here. That's... my mistake. I meant the parcel check.
Objection!
Even if you assume that, there are still many suspicious points. Why wasn't such a chisel immediately confiscated? Judge Courtney, did you tell anyone about the trick to this chessboard? I did not. If no information about our investigation was leaked, then how did you find out? You could not have examined this during the entrance check or parcel check. Certainly, someone in the warden's position would never have let a chisel slip by. Exactly, so answer this, Warden Roland. When and how did you learn about the chessboard secret? In that case, I shall answer for you. It is because... Hold it! I give up, Edgeworth dear. It is as you say. Yeah, but she's not just gonna confess, right? I interrogated Knightley, that's how I learned about the chessboard. But please believe me. Enough. It would appear that we have uncovered some vital information. I'll ask you to testify once more, if that's alright with you, Prosecutor Edgeworth. No objections here. Thank you, Edgeworth dear. I'll do my best. Well then, Warden Roland, I trust there will be no lies from here on out. Her pool of lies is slowly running dry. Soon I will bring out her true nature. I wouldn't go so far as to call it an interrogation. I always make sure to talk to all the new arrivals. Mr. Knightley. Yes, we had a little chat. After our talk, he went right back to his cell, I assure you. She's piling lies on top of lies, not realizing that it only tightens the noose around our neck. You speak with the new prisoners, you say. That's right. I'm glad you understand.
Objection!
Your testimony is not solid evidence. It requires more than just understanding. Well then, Prosecutor Edgeworth, you may begin your cross-examination. Well, what did you talk about exactly? What was Knightley like during the interrogation? He was very honest. Mr. Knightley was honest, pal. He also talked about the croissant and some kind of promo en passant and chess piece promotions, I presume. Looks like he was his usual chess-loving self. Yeah, en passant, it's a move. Like, you take a chess piece while you're moving yours or something like. I don't understand it very well, but I know that this is what that stands for. It's a chess move. Ah, crap. No, I wanted to press on that one. Hold on. She chats with the criminals. The warden is sure as easygoing, he said. She killed one of the criminals, you know. Since the guy was handcuffed, it would have been a pretty one-sided affair. Warden Roland has to be the killer. I have faith in my reasoning so far. If he really returned to his cell, there is no way he would be a corpse now. I know you're suggesting that I killed him during the interrogation, but I couldn't possibly have had motive to kill Knightley, could I? What if it was to put it on Dogen to have him moved to a different prison? I'd say that's a pretty good motive. Dogen was the only one I hated, and he had no connection with the victim. She only hated Dogen. Please hand that statement to your testimony. Dogen was the one I hated, and you had no connection to the victim. I beg to differ.
Objection!
They were playing chess against one another. Judge Courtney, I'd like you to have a look at this. It looks like a record of a chess game. Is there something wrong with it? This was discovered in the victim's cell. It was Knightley's memo. Warden Roland, you also discovered this note in the very same place. And not just in Knightley's cell, but in Dogen's too, correct? What are you?
Objection!
Don't say that you don't know about the chessboard in the special cell. After all, you would have kept an eye on Dogen's action, down to the smallest details. No. To be more precise, it wasn't Dogen that you needed to keep an eye on. The warden was searching for Mr. Dogen's henchman. From the start, I found it strange that the warden interrogated the prisoners personally, since he used his henchmen to threaten harm to her family. Warden Roland interrogated Dogen to expose them. So what are you saying? As you inspected Dogen's mail, you must have known that he played correspondence chess. And then Knightley appeared, with a chess memo in hand. We deduced that he and Dogen were connected. You must have arrived at the same conclusion as well. However, you went one step too far in your reasoning. You thought Knightley was one of Dogen's henchmen, who had come to kill you. Oh, is that so? So that would be the reason then? So that's why you interrogated Knightley boy. If the boss won't crack, go after his henchmen. In addition, you discovered something when you were interrogating him. Inside this chessboard, you found a portable chisel. The murder weapon. To Warden Roland, the chisel was a symbol of Dogen, and that was the final straw. But how did the chisel get in the chessboard, though? What would he have needed a chisel for? If he was not one of the henchmen. You believe Knightley was one of Dogen's henchmen, and you killed him. It seems there will be no rebuttal. Judge Courtney, your verdict. Tough. Though it is incredibly unfortunate, there seems to be no room for doubt. I shall announce my verdict for the murder of Horace Knightley. Twice my secret verdict has been interrupted. Warden Roland? Oh, how strange. You guys really don't understand anything. It would seem the one who doesn't understand is you. Me? Oh, I understand one thing very well. Ooh, she's scary right now. There is a huge contradiction in your logic, Mr. Edgeworth. Once she's cornered, she starts spouting nonsense. Pay it no heed. Judge Courtney, your verdict.
Overruled!
I am interested in hearing what the warden has to say. What? I thought so. I just have one thing I want to say. One? Please take a good look at the autopsy report. The autopsy report, the one I brought with me. I heard exactly what you said earlier, Justine darling. You said the wound was 4 inches deep. 4 inches? No way. Could that tiny chisel really have made a wound 4 inches deep? That's actually a good point. She raises there. The stream is dying a little bit. Dropping frames. Impossible. How could I have made such an error? Oh, forgive me. How much is 4 inches? 4 times about 2 centimeters and a half. So 10 centimeters about, Quellix. So yeah, it's true that the chisel would probably not have made such a deep cut. Probably not. Well, I believe that overturns your hypothesis. What will you do now, Mr. Edgeworth? What will we do? It will be alright, pal. Mr. Edgeworth, always. Why, hey now, he's gone all white. Hey, you're a defense attorney, aren't you? Isn't there something you can do, pal? Do that turnabout thing. Make some earth-shattering objection. Uncle Ray's a hard worker, but... I mean, a chisel, there is only the tip that's really sharp, isn't it? And then the rest, it's just the handle of the chisel, right? So, I don't know. It's only really the tip of the tool that's sharp. It's not exactly a blade. Without decisive evidence, we're just whipping a dead horse here. Does that mean it's hopeless? The true killer is Warden Roland. If it's not her, then nothing that's happened fits. But the chisel isn't the murder weapon. Are there any other sharp objects here? Uncle Ray isn't Phoenix. He can't just flip the table so easily. Well, with all due respect to him, he does seem pretty lousy as an attorney, at least so far in this case. Hopefully he redeems himself later, because he hasn't done much up until this point. There are still many mysteries remaining in this case. However, we do not have the evidence to solve them at this present time. Well, we have enough to call my client innocent, don't we? We have no choice but to continue this battle in the courtroom. I disagree. That would just give the killer a chance to destroy evidence. Overruled! Are you mocking the court? No, 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 I didn't mean anything like that. You look perplexed, Miles. Thought of anything yet? The chisel is not the murder weapon. In that case, what is? It's no use. We're back where we started. No objection, Prosecutor Edgeworth. By the way, any baseless statements will be punished accordingly. Ouch. Ouch. It's no good. I can't think of anything. I need more time. I regret to say, I have no... Hold it! Who said that this time? No, Mr. Edgeworth, remember what Mr. Shields said. It's quite sad. He does seem like a good attorney, but since Edgeworth is the main character, Ray can't really be too good. Yeah, I guess, yeah, there is that too to consider. Well, I don't know, because if you think about it, Mia Fey was an excellent attorney, and she wasn't the main character in the first game, but I guess she acted more like a mentor. But in this case, Edgeworth is supposed to be quite competent already, so he couldn't really play the same role, I guess, of a mentor. So, yeah, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Forgive up, Simon will. Have you forgotten that sad look on his face? He was the one who suffered most from Knightley's death. If we can't save him, who will? Besides, Simon believes in us, so we can't give up. I didn't need motivation like that. I wasn't gonna give up anyway. Okay, Miles, looks like you found a good partner. It's like little Kay says, whenever you're backed into a corner, think of your clients. Keep fighting until the very end. Isn't that the feeling you're getting? Gregory, your old man, no matter what trouble he faced, he would always turn things around and save his client. You've got his blood in you, right? In that case, you're the only one who can turn this around. I'd love to play a game where you lose some cases. Judge Courtney, the look in your eyes has suddenly changed. If you do intend to speak, you'd better be prepared to face the consequences. It is more about the story and character development than winning cases. I guess. But maybe some people wouldn't like it if you are meant to lose. I don't know. I don't know if that would prove just as popular with as many people. I don't know. That would be interesting for sure, but your logic thus far has been misplaced numerous times. If this were to happen again, I will consider you unfit to call yourself a prosecutor, and you will hand over your badge. You technically can lose the case with Matt Engard, or however you write his name, yeah. Yeah, if he's found not guilty, you lose, actually, yeah. He has to be found guilty to get the good ending to that case. My reasoning about this case has indeed been misplaced numerous times. Have I made a grave miscalculation? Wait, my logic is misplaced? Still silent? I cannot condone this waste of time. Well then, Mr. Edgeworth! Mr. Edgeworth! I will announce my verdict. That's it. I have to turn my logic around. My logic isn't misplaced. It's been misled. This court finds the defendant, Simon Keyes.
Objection!
Come on, we're not in a courtroom. Stop pretending that we are. Anything that happens outside the courtroom has no value. Stop being so serious. Isn't it a little early to hand down the verdict? I actually think it's rather late. Don't you agree, Justine darling? Enlighten us. What? Try to remember the eyewitness account about his dog and his absence from the animal show. When I first heard that information, my suspicion immediately fell on Dogen. But who gave us that information? I am amazed you take such pride in retelling your previous failings. Yeah, we need more of these clever cases where you actually need to lose. I agree, yeah, that would be good. If there were more of those. But was that not the killer's aim? What if we assumed that was their intention from the start? Of course, the chisel served the same purpose. Knightley's body was stabbed in the same spot with multiple sharp objects. This shows that he was stabbed with the chisel after the real murder weapon was removed. By soaking the... yeah, it's true, because we did find some blood on it anyway, and it belongs to Knightley. But only on the tip, though, I think. The killer wanted to mislead us into thinking the chisel was the murder weapon. Why? That's because... Why did the killer want us to think the chisel was the murder weapon? To get Knightley expelled... to get Dogen expelled. Ward and Roland, you made use of this chisel's image. Chisel's image? What are you trying to say? Oh, as I didn't say.
Hold it!
Mr. The Best. Crap, I passed the text a bit too quickly. Something like Dogen is the killer, right? Now, do you understand? That was the warden's aim. Ah, she wanted us to suspect the person with the chisels. Indeed, that was her plan from the very beginning, to make Saran Dogen out to be the killer. I understand your logic. It is true the warden did not think kindly of Dogen, but you understand, don't you? This alone does not prove she is the killer, as I thought. It's not enough. The remaining chance is for me to find the real murder weapon. If you have no more evidence, I believe this conversation is over.
Objection!
I could prove it if I found the real murder weapon.
Objection!
It doesn't matter what you say. We did a clean sweep of this place. It is as Sebastian says. In the end, we could not find any weapons. In other words, such proof is impossible.
Objection!
No, the murder weapon must still be somewhere in the prison. As long as this exists, the security gate. You remember its name after all. Are you mocking me? It's because of those things that you can't take metal objects in and out of this place. Ah! Right, as long as those security gates exist, the murder weapon should still be here. That also means no weapon could have been brought into the prison. In the end, we're back to the same mystery after all. Judge Courtney. I like Sebastian's reactions. I do like the game's twists, but sometimes you can figure out who the bad guy is too easily and what the twist is. What in this case, they led me for most of the case without having much of an idea of who it was. It was only when the circuit breaker was brought in and the knowledge that only she had the key that I started suspecting her, because otherwise I wouldn't have. Prosecutor Edgeworth, surely you've realized if the real murder weapon is still in the prison, one must also consider how it got there in the first place. The chisel was concealed within the chessboard. But the chisel is not the real murder weapon, which means the real murder weapon must have been smuggled in somehow, the way it was smuggled in. Can you prove that? How Warden Roland brought the weapon into the prison? Well, the smuggling ring, right? The smuggling through the through that tunnel. You had evidence transferred for the precinct? Yes, we borrowed all the evidence concerning Dogen. I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but... the knife that he used to kill his victims before, the one with the bell around it? That's it, you could have used that. This shows another way a weapon could be brought into the prison. Attached to the knife and Anubis, custom made, only two exist. The knife has been confiscated. There we go. This game is actually your favorite since it has such an interesting story and twist. Not too easy to figure out who did what. Yeah, it's true. Or sometimes they don't even make any effort to sort of disguise who did what, but it's proving it that proves to be the challenge in those cases. So it's not so easy, but yesterday Dogen said this. Yes, my bells. There are only two in the world. Only two? And every spoiler can destroy the experience. Yep, true. They're custom made, attached to my knife and Anubis' collar, even though I can only rely on my ears. I can easily identify them. Alas, one has been confiscated and is not in my possession. It's possible the murder weapon was brought in as confiscated evidence. What? What? Dogen's knife was confiscated and stored on the premises. Furthermore, a bell was attached to the knife. It can't be. The bell on that chisel. Exactly. The killer took it from the knife and reattached it to the chisel. But the only fingerprints on the chisel are Knightley's. The killer probably wore gloves when they made the switch. Well, doesn't she wear gloves at all times anyway? She made the chisel out to be the murder weapon by attaching Dogen's bell, and in doing so made Dogen appear to be the culprit. I'd like to get something to drink if you don't mind, because my mouth is really dry at the moment. I'll be right back, it won't take long. Right. Didn't have any more water, so I had to go down and get some more. I think the case is almost over for today anyway, so I'd like to finish it. What was that? I love how when hope for the case appears, there are certain themes that start for each of the games. Yeah. Yeah, the hope music, if you like, the hope theme. Furthermore, the handling of the set of evidence that this bell originally belonged to was only possible for someone with the proper authority. Who, sir? Who had that authority? The music in general is so hyped for the whole series. Why don't we ask the warden what she thinks? You can find bells anywhere. Anyone could have attached it, right? Well, no, not really. I see. So you don't know. These bells are Dogen's trademark. There are only 2 in the world. What? And so attaching the bell would naturally make you the killer. Music can really play with your emotions, and this game plays the perfect music at each moment. Well, music in general is something that makes me like a game more or less depending on how good it is. When something is when a game has really memorable music, usually I tend to remember those games more like over time than I do games that have like a completely unmemorable music. Yeah, the series, yeah. Design are so good too. Yep. Well, if you've never watched the anime, it's pretty good. The DS Attorney anime, and you can watch it for free on Crunchyroll. So I definitely recommend it. What? What do you mean it's not? You love the fox? Yeah, you can post it if you like. I will not be able to watch it straight away, but you can post it, of course, yeah. Do you have evidence that I have the knife? You don't, do you?
Hold it!
Of course, I understand. In that case, Mr. The Best, I'd like to request an investigation. It's not good. Do you have evidence that is good? You don't, do you? I will also post in the Discord. Thanks, Quillick, so I can watch later. Thanks. In that case, Mr. The Best, I'd like to request an investigation immediately. But if you find it, it'd be problematic for me. That doesn't matter now. It is necessary that we reveal the truth. You are a prosecutor, are you not? Well, even if you say that, curse this useless prosecutor, if only I still had investigative rights. Besides, we can't investigate without the warden's permission, right? There's no way she would approve. We have no choice but to investigate ourselves. If you don't have evidence, there's no use in continuing this conversation. The goddess of law does not smile upon those with no evidence. This will have to be continued in the courtroom. Not good. If we give the warden more time here, she'll definitely destroy the evidence. It seems like I have no choice but to raise an objection and stall for time. But I don't have anything definite. Is that really acceptable? Is it really like me to do something this reckless? No, not good. Now is not the time for hesitation. Right now, I'm not a prosecutor, but an attorney's assistant. I need to protect my client. I'm the only one who can save him now in that case. The anime is meh compared to playing the game. Well, yeah, but I still thought that it was kind of cool. Yeah, the live action movie is hilarious. Yeah, obviously you can't take that seriously at all. I actually, well, I enjoyed it watching. Well, I enjoyed watching it once, but I never felt the need to watch it again since. It's when it's played by real actors, it's impossible to take seriously indeed. But I don't know. I quite liked the anime series. I thought like most details of the games were conveyed pretty well. My bro has the manga as well. I have yet to read it to see how well that translates over to a comic book style of storytelling. Even if it's a 1 in a million chance, I have to take it. It's sink or swim. Should I raise an objection? Well, yeah, I don't have a choice, so, You seem to have taken it seriously. Do you have evidence that it's good? You don't, do you? Was a fun take on what the character just said in the game. Yeah, I did take it seriously, I guess. I can't prove that the anime is good. Sorry. It's just my feeling about it. It almost feels like I've turned into a certain bluffing defense attorney. But right now, I can't come to a standstill here.
Objection!
Hold it! Prosecutor Edgeworth, what now? I just realized something. What would that be? Pray tell. Naturally, the whereabouts of the real murder weapon. Dogen's knife. Mr. Edgeworth, is that really true? Yes, though it is a lie. I find that hard to believe. This isn't a bluff, is it? You underestimate me. The word bluff does not exist in my dictionary. This is bad for my heart. There's no way you could know, because such a thing doesn't even exist. Well then, could you enlighten us? Where is the real murder weapon? Think! Somewhere the police didn't look. Anime series based on games can be hard to do, but they usually do better than a movie based on a game. Well, I like that one. Well, to give a good example, and Jeff will certainly agree with me on that one, the Steins Gate animated series, at least the first season, was good. At least that was good. I liked it quite a lot. Miles has to roleplay as Phoenix. Yeah, exactly. Somewhere the police didn't look. A blind spot in this animal-filled prison. A hiding place the warden would have complete confidence in. Is there a place where the animals are kept? Hiding place? Come to think of it. It was inevitable. Anubis, show them your mouth. Visual novels are kind of an exception. Yeah, I guess, because they tend to be less interactive to begin with anyway. Well, it depends which visual novel, I guess, but in this case, the original game didn't have much of interaction. You're just mostly, well, reading with some graphics to tell you a bit about what's happening, so the same method? No, it couldn't be, could it? But there aren't that many ways to hide things from an investigator's eyes. They're like a TV series you play anyway, yeah. Well, more so the version that I streamed, because it's based on the anime, which itself was based on the original game, so Prosecutor Edgeworth, how long do you intend to keep us waiting? It's possible, but I'm taking a big gamble here. The place where the real murder weapon is hidden is here. Well, there's only one animal which we know has swallowed something that is really close by.
Take that!
Here in the courtyard? Indeed. That's not enough information. Please show us in more detail. I pointed exactly to the pond. Where is the real murder weapon hidden?
Take that!
That's it! Back then. What's the matter? I feel bad for the alligator, though, having to swallow a knife. Poor animal. It looks like the metal detector is reacting to this alligator. Really? Why? Of course. That's an interesting way of thinking about it. Of course, that's why the metal detector reacted. Judge Courtney, I'd like you to take a look at this. The chisel. Wasn't that just a fake murder weapon? Yeah, PETA is already calling. Dogen hid this chisel inside this dog's mouth, and the real murder weapon was hidden in very much the same way. Oops. The real murder weapon is in the pond inside the alligator. What? What? We can confirm that the metal detector reacted to the alligator. Judge Courtney, please have the insides of the alligator examined. I give my consent. We'll have to call a veterinarian. I can make that little girl open her mouth. Can I help? Yes, go ahead. Warden Roland, discovering the real murder weapon will settle this matter once and for all. With the super epic jingle. Dum 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 dum. Why don't you do the honorable thing and confess now? What would I have to confess? In that case, you can just wait for your fate to be sealed. We found it, sir. Just where you said it would be. It's over. Patricia Rowland, this real murder weapon is none other than Dogen's knife. And the one who murdered Oris Knightley can only be you. Oh, she's gonna snap. She's gonna snap. Dogen was the evil one. I didn't do anything wrong. It was completely reasonable. That guy was one of Dogen's henchmen. Him. If only he had never come to my home. I could at least still be happy. My special paradise. He ruined it. All of it. Him. That no good assassin. Him. There we go. Classic Ace Attorney breakdown. I love the snap. So it was a whole bunch of animals then. No, she's not. Well, actually, I thought it was just a thick coat or something. And I thought to myself, well, if she loves animals so much, she shouldn't wear their skin like that. But actually, no, she was wearing animals, quite literally. Mr. The Best of Mr. The Best of the Best, we have the results. The best of the best. Looks like even the forensic officers have it tough. We found traces of Knightley's blood on Dogen's knife. It was just like you said. You're the best, Mr. The Best. Alright, good job, but don't stop there. Keep the praise coming. Yes, sir, you're so incredible. It brings tears to my eyes. Oh, she is also wearing the, yeah, strip and stripes look. Plot twist, she is actually a prisoner herself. Well, because of the stripes. What is rarely blue and white, I guess. In this, I think it was blue and white what she was wearing. We didn't get to see it for very long. Well done, Sebastian. Next comes the follow-up investigation. Huh? What are you talking about, Justine? Hasn't the case been solved already? We have not yet confirmed if Knightley truly was one of Dogen's henchmen. There is also a chance that Ward and Roland jumped to conclusions. Oh, that is the remaining uncertainty in this case. Anyways, let's keep investigating. Well, now she will be. She won't even have to change. Hey, you there, come with me. Since I'm the best, the truth will appear before me first. When that moment arrives, make sure you don't miss it. Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to witnessing your first-rate ability. Let's go! We live in troubling times, wouldn't you agree? The would-be assassin of the president was found murdered in the prison. Knightley had not planned to assassinate the president. The truth is not as vital as you seem to believe it to be. Not to the world. And not to the law. That can't be right! Believe what you will, however. As long as Prosecutor Edgeworth remains a prosecutor, it is an inescapable reality. I was exaggerating, just meant to say that the visual novels are closer to an actual TV series movie than other genre of games are. Yeah, okay. It's not wrong. Prosecutor is not someone who demands a guilty verdict. That is what I believe. Those are merely your values. The law is not the plaything of any one person. If you will not submit to that, you will do well to prepare for the consequences. What's that supposed to mean, pal? Don't tell me you're gonna... Now then, this is where I must take my leave. Prosecutor Edgeworth. Judge Courtney is right. The law should not serve any one person's desires. However, if the truth is bent as a result of that, can that really be called justice? Ah, Simon! Boss! What happened? They said you could come out already? Well, honestly, I don't know for sure. All of a sudden, they were like, you're free to go, and you should thank Mr. Edgeworth. Well, that's because he found out who the real murderer was. Really? He did? Mr. Edgeworth? Oh. No way, no way, no way. Even if you glare at me like that, it's useless. I'm innocent after all. You can't make me guilty. Simon, you should thank him, you know. You're right. Thank you very much. I want to thank you too. Good grief. Yare, yare. Mr. Defense Attorney, can I ask you just one more question? Yes, you may, but I'm not a defense attorney. I thought that Knightley and I were friends. No, I mean, best friends. I always thought we were. You don't think so anymore? Well, I'm just wondering. There were some things I had no idea about, like how he could hate someone enough to kill them. That's why maybe he never trusted me either. Simon, that's not true. You're lying, because if I had known, I could have stopped him. I would have told him he had no need to be angry with anyone. Mr. Keyes, I don't think he disliked you either. Let's show him proof that Knightley trusted him. I don't want to get that wrong, so I'm gonna make a suspend point here. The chessboard, maybe? What, you love this part so much? What, when you have to present something to someone? Well, yeah, the chessboard, I guess. Because he brought it to him. That's what I gave to Knightley. Knightley hid a chisel inside it, most likely. Ah, shit. Escape? He used me? He trusted in you. He knew you'd bring it to him without looking into it and without question. And in doing just that, you were caught up in everything. Knightley, you idiot! Looks like he gets it. Simon is not as dumb as he looks after all. I'm sure he'll be back to normal by tomorrow. Was that supposed to be a compliment? I'm not sure. It's always hard to tell with her. I'll be strong. I'll become a splendid wild animal tamer for Knightley's sake. Excellent, that's the spirit. Who's taming who right now anyway? I almost forgot. If you'd like, please come to our next show. Berwick Circus is coming today. Ah, yeah, there's that magician from Justice for All. Whatever his name was. Love it too. But the fact that they still yell stuff just like take that makes me imagine them throwing it in their faces. Yeah, like saw it throwing his toupee at Phoenix Wright's face, or Miles Edgeworth in this case, his wig. Maximilian, yeah, Maximilian. I'll also be performing in it. The Berwick Circus is always fabulous and fun for all ages. When after a case in which you present various stuff to prove a murder, etc., you present a thing to lift someone's spirits. Yep. It sounds like fun. Let's go, Edgeworth. Well, I'll think about it. Well, we need to get back to practicing right away. What? You'll be... The tiger? No, wait, no, wait, no, wait, wait. It'll be fine. He's a good boy. No way. There is no way it will be fine. Please cut me a break, boss. And there they go. But man, bravo, bravo. You really put on a good show today, Miles. It's all thanks to you, Mr. Shields. Without your help, she might have gotten away. Not to mention allowing us to continue the investigation. Oh man, cut it out already. You're gonna make me blush. So nice when the ending is so lighthearted. Well, the game is not over yet. Well, the case is ending, I guess. I never know when you are being serious. Uncle Ray is always serious, so how was it, Miles? How did it feel to be a defense attorney, to save people? A defense attorney. But that really took me back. It was just like being next to your old man again. It's been a while since I felt this good. It was... well, it's somewhat difficult to say it was a good thing. Come on, Miles, are you sure you don't want to be a defense attorney? What? You know, pick up where your father left off. Don't you want to save people like he did? What are you talking about, pal? Miss Edgeworth is a prosecutor. But is it really that unusual for a prosecutor to become a defense attorney these days? Unusual isn't the problem here. Hey, don't be so upset. It's normal, you know. Normal. It's not? Normal, pal. You'll all make for a powerful defense team, Mr. Shields. I am a prosecutor, and Uncle Ray is a defense attorney. That's why I'm being serious about this. Well, that's just my opinion. Feel free to drop by any time if you have a change of heart. I'll be waiting for you. Even if the whole game isn't done, it still feels like a nice closure to a case. Yup. Follow in my father's footsteps. Me. Become a defense attorney. I'm going to become a defense attorney, just like my dad. Well, yeah, that's what he said at first. Should I become a defense attorney? Like my father? He looks like Giovanni here. What, from Pokemon? Well, this is the end of today's stream then. I will start that new chapter tomorrow, and that way it will be like a fresh start for a fresh new stream, and I won't have to remember what I did at the end of the previous day's stream. Yeah, from Pokemon? I guess so, yeah, maybe a bit. With a trench coat. Yeah, you're welcome, Quilix. So, I'll be back tomorrow, around the same time as today, and we will be starting the third case then. Whatever that will be. Thanks for watching, and take care of yourselves, guys. See ya next time. Bye-bye. Yep. You're welcome. If you became a defense attorney, then he couldn't fight against alongside Phoenix. Yeah, that would not be the same anymore, I guess. Okay, guys. I'll leave you to it. See you next time. Bye-bye.